Hello, Durud and Shalom. And hola, we be live. Hola, monkey.
Hola, hola. How you doing? How's it going?
Good, good. President Trump just gave the last ultimatum, last chance for the Islamic Republic. And he said that this is the last chance. And after this, if it doesn't work out, he's going to go all in. I mean, I'm going to play it. So if I'm misrepresenting him, you guys could see if I'm right or not or wrong. But what do you think? Because we have been here before, we have heard this is the last chance before, and so far, many of the last chances weren't actually last chances. Do you think this one is actually the last chance?
I'll believe it when I see it.
All right, fair enough. Let's see what President Trump has to say here. Hold on.
Meanwhile, to the Middle East, President Trump telling Iran this is their last chance to make a deal before the United States carries out a far more punishing military operation.
Chief Foreign Correspondent Trey Yingst is live in Tel Aviv with the latest. Good morning, Trey.
Yeah, hey guys, good morning. While the Trump administration explores a diplomatic solution with Iran, the IRGC is continuing attacks in the Gulf. Overnight, a cargo ship off the coast of Oman.
Doesn't that mean the last chance is already over, monkey? Shouldn't that be already over?
Yeah, I don't know what to say. Like, this is retarded.
So yeah, we said like last chance, and they're now attacking ships. So can we get back to boom booms now or no?
IRGC is continuing attacks in the Gulf. Overnight, a cargo ship off the coast of Oman was hit with an unknown projectile, according to maritime tracking groups. The incident comes as the U.S. naval blockade remains in effect. CENTCOM says that as of August 3rd, they have redirected 44 commercial vessels and disabled 2 others.
Captain, you are requested to alter course to 190. If you do not comply, we will compel compliance with force. This is Warship 45. We will monitor your course for compliance at this time. Warship 45 standing by on 160.
President Trump posted to Truth Social on Monday saying, in part, nothing gets through to Iran unless we want it to, and nothing will get through unless a deal or total surrender is accomplished. Whether Iran wants to admit it or not, we are, in fact, talking of a solution to a problem that they have caused. The president described the state of play with Iran yesterday from the Oval Office.
Mr. President, are the talks with Iran now off and are airstrikes
No,
back
they're
on?
on. They're going on right now. It's an amazing thing. We have a little problem with Iran because we have many talks and we'll say we have or we don't have. You know, we're straight about it. But they deny, but they're not denying it now. This is the last chance. This is not something that, if it doesn't happen, this is the last chance for them to sign a good document.
Reports indicate Iran and
Last chance to sign a good document. I mean, here's the thing. Here's the thing. You might be like, okay. I'll sign a good document, and I'll violate it whenever I want. Like signing a good document doesn't do anything, right, monkey? Signing a right document.
What is the motivation to even sign a good or a bad document if they can just not sign it and we do nothing?
Yes, and what is the motivation to abide by the document after you sign? Let's say it's actually the best argument. It's the bestest of all documents, and the Islamic Republic comes and signs it. Does that signature mean anything?
Well, yes, the signature doesn't mean anything, but like from the American perspective, like why would you sign my document? Why would I sign your document, no matter how pretty it is? Why? Why would I agree to any terms you give? Why would I subject myself to any terms you give if I can attack and you're going to do nothing? Even though you promise. Even worse, not only do you do nothing, you make a big show about doing something and then you do nothing.
Good document.
Reports indicate Iran and Oman are nearing a deal regarding control of the Strait of Hormuz and splitting service fees between them. It's not clear if the terms would be acceptable to the Trump administration that has maintained 0 fees should be charged in this international waterway. There are
Wow, even Oman has the audacity to come out and say, like, we had the Islamic Republic saying we're going to collect tolls. Oman is also now collecting tolls. Wow, great. So much progress we're making.
certain days ahead in the region as the Middle East waits to see if a deal will be reached or we'll see a return to war. Guys?
So Trey, real quickly, the president talked about the military operation that was leaked over the weekend. It's obviously, they need to figure out who's leaking from the White House. That has to be someone high within government that put that out there to sources. It's our job as the press to cover that.
I don't believe if any. I mean, I might be wrong here, but I don't think anything was leaked. I think that the leak was an excuse to get the Islamic Republic. It wasn't like a leak. It was basically, here's what we're about to do. Are you going to come to the table or not? They disguised it as a leak, in my opinion.
Probably.
But I'm curious from your perspective and your sources on the state of play that league played out in the Middle East, and who then phoned the White House to get to the negotiating table.
It's a great question because these leaks can be substantial. And when you're looking at a situation with 50,000 U.S. service members, destroyers, refuelers, fighter jets across the region, the operational security is very significant whenever there are plans being made to strike Iran. And the president indicated he called off the planned strikes at the request not only of Iran, but also of Gulf allies like Saudi Arabia, Qatar, and the UAE. What was interesting, though, Lawrence, we spoke with senior Israeli intelligence officials over the weekend who said they weren't even aware of the details of the plan. And that's how close the administration was holding these details to the chest because of how sensitive it is in the region. And so moving forward, we do anticipate the Trump administration will do everything possible to ensure that they're not giving Iran a heads up. They want to keep the Iranians guessing as these diplomatic pathways play out, understanding that if the talks fail, we are likely looking at a return to combat operations.
Yeah, but for the Islamic Republic's calculation right now is that, rightly or wrong, I'm not saying you're right about this, but their understanding is that given that you already canceled 5 attacks that you said you're going to do, you probably don't have enough to do a major attack. So even if you do an attack, it's not going to be at the level that they can't handle. They're like, yeah, they're going to come, I don't know, take out some radar sites, take out some, I don't know, air defense, and we can afford it. We could afford it. That's what the Islamic Republic thinks because, I mean, right maybe, I don't know, maybe this is misdirection or not, but from their perspective, they don't need to hold back because if you were going to do anything, you would have done it by now. Mikey, this could be all the most optimistic take, okay, is that this is all just to create a false sense of safety and security for the Islamic Republic for the final fight. Do you think that's naive to think that?
I don't know what to say. I'm very upset about this shit. I'm very angry. This is retarded. This is retarded. There's no excuse. We're not like, there's some people saying, no, we're running out of missile and the plan got leaked and blah, blah, blah. If you look at the past plans, whatever got leaked is about as much as was known about the last plan. And it didn't stop us last time. Oh, we're going to do this, this, and that. And everybody knows now that we're going to do this, this, and that. Yeah, that's exactly as much as they knew the last time. This isn't a leak beyond levels of information that was out last time that we informed. It's like, oh, the leak was about as much information as we gave you last time. Huh.
Right.
So what is the leak? What is if the leak that you give now is the amount of information you voluntarily gave before the last strikes, where is this leak? Is this a real leak? Are you pretending it's a leak? I don't even understand. As far as the missile, we've ramped up production of missiles since January a lot. Like, I don't think that we don't have enough missiles. Everybody's saying we don't have enough missiles. We don't have enough missiles to give the world. Like, Ukraine is low on missiles. That's a thing. That's true, but it's not at a point when we can attack. Sometimes the best defense is a good offense. The problem here is that a lot of people that have never worn a boot pretend that they are the arbiters of the boots. They never ask a boot if a boot wants to go in the ground. They never ask anyone that wore a boot if a boot should go on the ground. They always ask these family members, these people that pretend they have family members. Oh, my cousin, my brother, my dad, my son is in the military, and I don't want boots on the ground. Bitch, you never wore a boot. Why are you speaking for us, motherfucker? Maybe some boots got to go on the ground. And I'm not talking about sending 500,000 troops in there. I'm talking about we are the boots. Stop speaking for us. All these motherfuckers speaking for us. This has been our fucking enemy for over 30 years. They've been killing us. When was Beirut? They've killed over 1,000 of our troops, our literal troops, the Al-Quds forces, through the proxies. They've killed so many of us. And now we got to be here tied down because all these fucking civilians are telling us, I don't want boots on the ground. Well, fuck you.
Oh, my God. Okay. We all needed that this morning to wait. We needed that. Everybody's awake now.
Oh my God!
Okay,
I wanted to get that out.
you got that out of your system.
Oh, such a relief! It's like saying goose fraba.
Yes.
You got to see the movie to understand.
Okay. People are saying almond monkey. Okay. By the way, AFI, thank you so much for the jewels. And you start this comment, Monkey? You wanted to respond to that?
Yes, this is very true. The rumor is that U.S. military is out of weapons. What are the U.S. afraid of? The mullahs? That's what Reuters say. Okay, you have to understand, even though the AI will tell you that Reuters is centrist and AAP is centrist, that is not so. It is an extremely leftist newspaper, and it's always going to give you the worst possible view of what the U.S. can do. So you can never trust Reuters. If you look at Reuters records, they have to retract so much garbage all the time.
You mean Reuters? You're talking about Reuters?
Yeah, Reuters. Am I saying it wrong? Okay, they
Reuters.
write it weird, though. They do write it weird.
Okay. Yes. Okay.
Reuters is basically garbage. Now, do we need more missiles? Yes, but we have significantly increased. I think I have the rate has increased since January. It went from about 43 missiles per month and to now 56 per month. That's on the PAC-3. And for the THAAD, it went from stayed at 96 or 96 to 98 a month. So the THAADs have kind of stayed the same, and we're ramping up production. So the production hasn't stopped, and they are increasing, and they are being made per month. Like every month we get more of them. We have been using them, but it's not like production stops, and it's not like it takes a year to make these. We make 50 to 100 of these a month. It's and the rate is about to, I think it's quadruple. It's about to double for the THAADs, and it's about to quadruple for the PAC-3, and they have new rocket engines in them, so they move a little better. They're more efficient, and so, like, I understand that this is something that has been said, and thank you. Like, that is the rumor. Thank you for your accuracy on that. But I just want to talk about the contract with Northrop Grumman and what's being talked about behind this. No, not behind the scenes, because it's open and out there. Just what I've been able to research.
Right. So Elisheva saying, does it matter if they sign? Nope. They violate everything. The Islamic Republic violates every single deal they sign all the time. Saying they'll fire anyone who signs an agreement with the U.S. Yeah, they don't even need to fire them. They already call them traitors and treason and stuff like that. So they said Pezeshkian is allowed to resign and want to impeach Iraq. Yeah, this time they came out. By the way, it seemed like Mujtaba is making moves if he's alive. He's now resurfacing if he's alive because they're making some big changes. Zolqadr is being removed at the Security Council, and Reza is taking his place. There's some rumors that that's the rumor. We'll see if that actually happens or not. They're announcing if Pezeshkian resigns one more time, they'll just allow him to resign. Arakshi is in Iraq right now doing the pilgrimage, which is like, are you not supposed to be doing the negotiations? So there's some major changes happening right now within the Islamic Republic. Maybe I'll talk more about it in that later segment with Ali. But it does seem like the anti-negotiation people are getting the upper hand, which seems like, right now right as of right now, there's a huge push against negotiations, right? Monkey, let's do this one that you start quick so that we could get back to the video. There you go.
Yeah, over 7 deals means they start ramping up now
No,
and
no.
keep that going. Like, that's just how that works. Like, I don't know if you understand how over 7 deals years, that doesn't mean on the over 2 years means that doesn't mean they do it on December of the second year. That means they start right now and they keep ramping up production. They have already ramped up production. I can tell you the numbers per month. When you look at this, like, try to find out what the numbers are per month and don't just get fixated on the 2-year mark.
Okay. All right, I'll get to the super chat soon, but let me play this one first. I'm going to finish this video so we all have the full update.
So obviously, Trey, we are seeing the White House trying to keep their cards close to the vest, but there is also a tremendous buildup. We've watched a tremendous buildup over the last couple of months. Some of that is Trump trying to put pressure on Iran. But when you compare the buildup that we've seen over the last couple of weeks to the buildup that we had when all of this began 6 months ago, can you compare the posture?
It's slightly larger, and the president indicated the strikes that were planned are actually larger as well. He described them as the largest since World War II. But when we look at the equation right now, this is not just an equation of military pressure. This is an equation of economic deterrence. And that's exactly what we have seen from the Trump administration over the past several weeks with the resumption of the U.S. naval blockade. This blockade of Iranian ports is costing the Iranian regime hundreds of millions of dollars each and every day. And it's part of the reason that the Iranians are looking for an agreement, because they understand that as the U.S. military maintains its presence in the region, they have very few options in terms of an off-ramp here. They are either looking at a return to combat operations or some sort of agreement, a negotiated settlement that would alleviate that economic pressure and avoid strikes against the regime.
Okay, Trey, thank you so much.
Yeah, so there are multiple parts of the Islamic Republic with different financial motivations. There are parts of the Islamic Republic that are very much financially motivated to. Okay, I lost audio here. Let me reshare this. That the blockade is going to be devastating them, that the sanctions will be devastating them, that the war is devastating them. But there's also parts of the Islamic Republic that are extremely afraid of the negotiations pushing the Islamic Republic in a direction where they would have to open their economy and also get away from this wartime economic situation that they're in. So their financial interest goes exactly the opposite. So if you see that there's different elements of the Islamic Republic pushing for and against negotiations, is because the financial interest of each side is different from the other. That's what's happening here. And let me see.
Look, personally, I think boomers get stuck on nuclear. This being a boomer, boomers want deals. Boomers care about nuclear. The area of radius of effect of a nuke is nowhere near the devastation that the pandemic caused. It is retarded to seek a deal with people who would unleash 1,000 pandemics.
Yes. Justin, thank you so much for the super chat, saying, my dad, former senior Marine officer, told me the USS Tripoli's wet dock was converted to hangar for F-35s and Ospreys, no amphibious capabilities, so only boots on the ground will be special forces. Wouldn't that be like classified information though to put out?
Well, not only that, of course, we can drop troops anywhere. We have airplanes. We have parachutes. What do you mean, like, that's the only way to deploy troops? That's not how any of that works. You ever heard of an airborne ranger?
Okay, that's apparently not classified. Apparently, this is known. USS Tripoli omitted the traditional well deck to maximize aviation infrastructure for F-35B stealth fighters and MV-22B Ospreys. Yeah. Although surface landing craft cannot be deployed, full Marine infantry forces can still be launched via vertical helicopter. And this is what the monkey just said. Although surface landing craft cannot be deployed, full marine infantry forces can still be launched via vertical helicopter and tilt rotor air assaults. I don't know what that word is. Tilt.
We can fit so many people in a C-130, and we can have so many C-130s. We can drop so many. Like, people that have never seen a big deployment have no idea what they're talking about.
But
They have no idea how many troops we can drop in one area, and basically very, very fast and very, very
But
rapid form.
But that's very good information to have, Justin. Thank you for sharing that. I didn't know. Like, that is good.
Yes, thank you. Oh, and not just that, equipment. Like, we can drop Humvees, we can drop all kinds of stuff. We could drop a tank if we wanted to.
Right. Let me see this.
Are the talks with Iran now off and are airstrikes
No,
back
they're
on?
on. They're going on right now. It's an amazing thing. We have a little problem with Iran because we have many talks and we'll say we have or we don't have. We're straight about it. But they deny, but they're not denying it now. They just put out a statement not denying it. But for some reason, when they're talking, they don't like saying that they're talking. So I say, wait, we're in talks. Big deal. We're in talks. And they'll sometimes deny it, even though they spend hours and hours together talking. No, the talks are going along. We're going to hit them very hard yesterday, very, very hard, harder than any attack. I think I can say, General, from a point of knowledge, any attack since World War II, that's pretty big. And we were set to go, and they called. And in addition, Saudi Arabia called, and UAE called, Qatar called. I called from numerous people. I don't want to use the word begging, but some were, in particular, Iran did not want to be hit. And they said, we want to talk. We want to talk about the Strait, but more importantly, from my standpoint, we want to talk about the denuclearization of Iran, because it's what it's all about. This is why I'm doing this. And it should have been done. It's now 50 years. We keep saying 47 years, but 3 years have gone by. But it's for 50 years that other presidents should have been doing or other countries. Didn't have to be us, but other countries. And nobody did it. And it was time. And we hit them hard with the B-2s more than a year ago now. And that knocked out their capability, their potential capability. And we've done a great job. But when we talk, we say we're talking. If we're not talking, when you ask me, no, we're not talking, I'll say it. But we are talking right now. We're talking. And we're talking at the request of Iran, backed by Saudi Arabia, backed by UAE, and backed by Qatar in particular, but others also. Many countries called, the leaders of many are friendly with a lot of them, almost all of them, one way or the other, and they all wanted to give this a last chance. This is a last chance. This is not something that, if it doesn't happen, this is a last chance for them to sign a good document.
I don't know. It's it's the last chance. It's not going to work, though. Last chance to allow the Islamic Republic to do something that they have never done before. I mean, they already shot at ships, but like, the chance is over. I don't get this. Unless they're buying time for something bigger. It's also been draining the Israeli military readiness as well, because getting ready for going all out and then stopping, and then getting ready for going all out and stopping. I didn't know this, but apparently it significantly reduces your capability and drains your military power. Is that that's what I've heard? A lot of people are talking about that as well.
Well, another thing to take into account, like people like Hassan Piker and the Durkas and the Tucker Carlsons are going to say, "Oh, what are you going to do? It's 90 million people." No, it's not 90 billion people. All we have to do is basically a humanitarian mission to get in contact with the forces there that are against the regime. Like, this is not like the locals love the IRGC. It's ridiculous to say that the IRG forces are 90 million. It's like one of the most ridiculous things I've ever heard. But people do say that, and they say that a lot. Yeah. Oh, they're saying it right now in the chat. How are your military forces going to take on 90 million people? I'm like, oh my God, what a retard.
Yeah, how is the Islam? Actually, this is a very good point, Monkey. How is the Islamic Republic going to push back against 90 million people? How is Islamic? Yeah, you should say that to the Islamic Republic. How the hell is your military forces going to push back against 90 million people? You should be telling the Islamic Republic.
I'll show you who. I'll show you who. There you go. I just started the comment.
Oh, this guy. It said like, LOL, this is hilarious. You guys don't have a clue about Iran. به فارسی با هم صحبت بکن ببینم اصلا از ایران چیزی حالیت میشه خودت. اگه ایرانی هستی بهم فارسی بگو ببینم چی حالیته از سیاست ایران. برو تحلیلای کانال فارسی ما رو نگاه کن. Go watch our Persian channels predictions. Every single thing that we told them on the Persian channel, every single one of them came true. Every single one of them for the past 5 years. You have no idea what you're talking about.
These people are, zipper diving Tucker Carlson and Nick Fuentes, and they think they're really smart.
Yeah, they have no idea. Yeah, they just watch some videos on Tucker. I don't know if this guy is even Iranian. If you're not Iranian,
he's not.
He's not Iranian. I've been doing Iranian politics for the past 20 years. I lived half my life in Iran. You're telling me that I don't know anything about Iran?
Look, America is losing, and you hate that. Okay. What do you love it? Where do you live?
Here's an interesting thing. Even Monkey, let me tell you something about how great America is, right? Even if all of this goes wrong, the Islamic Republic is fighting for survival. The United States is fighting for somewhat of a better economic conditions for its people. The United States is not dealing with the fall of the United States. It's dealing with more jobs, less jobs, better, stock prices, lower stock prices, greater, better prices, more affordability, less affordability. The Islamic Republic is dealing with existing or not existing. Okay? So United States going after the Islamic Republic is like you looking for a cockroach in your house, trying to squish it. If you don't find a cockroach and the cockroach lives, it's not like you're going to die. For the cockroach, this is about dying or living. For the person looking for the cockroach, this is about inconvenience.
Look, some people say, I looked at some papers in line, so I know better than you. They've never been in the military, never been to Iran, don't understand the geopolitics. My problem, you know why I'm angry? I'm angry at our self-restraint. That's what I'm angry at. I don't think that we can take them. I'm absolutely sure we can. I'm angry at our self-restraint. We should do what needs to be done. I'm angry that these boomers are so stuck on nuclear that they don't see the danger of the virology bioweapons that these guys started making in December that Armin went over with me. Like Armin is my source on this, and he has been historically right about what he finds about the ARGC gets proven right over and over, right? So when we're telling you that the danger here is the IRGC, not the nuclear, that they could pivot to weapons that are far worse, that could touch everywhere in the world. And autocrats love disaster because it gives them more power. Like a worldwide disaster gives China more power. A worldwide disaster gives Putin more power. They would love another worldwide disaster, especially if they think they're immune to it. And a lot of them are confident enough to think they are. My problem is not the nuclear. My problem is our self-restraint. Because if we did not restrain, I assure you that we could go kick down every door. I assure you that we have the capability of doing that. My problem is the restraint. My problem is that these boomers are stuck on nuclear, even though they just went through Wuhan.
Yes, we're good. Okay, Justin, I hope this doesn't start a fight between the monkey and the chat. I'm in no patience. I don't have any patience with this. Please, I'm going to read this. I hope this doesn't get out of control because I want to get back to the news. Justin is saying, Why do you have to be so snarky? Of course, I've heard of this is just how the monkey speaks. Let's just let it be.
And
Let's
it
not
wasn't
try to.
him. It was at a
eh,
completely
yeah.
different person telling Armin that he doesn't
Yes.
know what he's talking about. It's nothing to do with Justin.
Yeah. Yes. Okay. Thank you, Monkey, for not going. Saying, but the only airborne forces in theater as of now are fuel tankers, and no Osprey cannot offload tanks and equipment. Okay. All right, Monkey. If you want to respond to it without like starting like a fight, like that would I know
No,
I
no,
would be
no.
so
Okay,
grateful.
so my problem was with this other guy in the chat that was talking a lot of trash. It wasn't with Justin. We talk to Justin every day. Now, about us getting people there, us getting people to the other side of the world in 24 to 48 hours is a very easy thing to do. So it doesn't matter where on earth we are. One of the things that America has is getting to anywhere on earth largely, like getting big amounts of troop movements anywhere on earth very, very fast. So distance is not an issue for us. We could drop the the 108th Airborne Division. We could do a lot of things, right? So if someone who is not familiar will only look at what's in theater, we are not limited by what's in theater, especially when it comes to troop movements. That's
Right.
my
So
larger point on that. And as far as my snarkiness, it's a guy being snarky in the comments. Some, Tucker Carlson zipper diver talking trash in the chat, and I'm talking trash back to him. Nothing to do with you.
yes. So yeah, so we're talking about troop numbers, and yes, Ospreys cannot transport heavy tanks, true, but the U.S. Marine Corps completely divested its tanks units in May 2020 in favor of air mobile expeditionary forces. Airborne refueling tankers in the region support F-35B fighters, maintaining maritime security across the Persian Gulf against the regime in Iran. Okay, so both, yeah, thank you to both. I appreciate you both. And then
That's
Justin,
very
when
mission specific too. We wouldn't necessarily even need that equipment.
Mm-hmm. And Justin saying, and no, it's not classified. Yeah, I know. I looked it up. It was not classified. We don't have any air invasion forces in theater right now. Until that happens, no boots on the ground unless special ops. So, yeah, special ops probably. Let me see if that's true. Mikey, do you want to say anything about that or no?
I think theater right now. Yeah, if we're talking about what's there right now, it doesn't really matter. We could refuel and get anything anywhere. We don't need to drop on a base. If we needed to drop on a base, we'd be home. We drop into enemy space, right? And it would be more than likely to coordinate with local forces that hate the IRGC. Like the IRGC are hated by the Iranians, and if you don't take that into account, then you're just not thinking about how this works. Like usually what you do
Yeah.
is you have a massive air campaign and then you meet up with local forces. First of all, we probably have special forces there already. That it's
Mhm.
probably knowing what are the local forces that we can link up with. We have done this since the Barbary Pirates War. Like this is what our speciality. Finding local opposition is our speciality. We do it all the time, right? It's work out wonderfully to get whoever is in power out of power. Sometimes the aftermath is pretty bad, especially when the Democrats come in a year later and change the rule of engagement. But when it comes to going in, oh, we go in powerfully. And
So
getting
here's the
locals,
thing.
we do that too.
So here's what I have really quickly before we go to the next one. Marine expeditionary units carry conventional ground infantry troops, not just special ops, who can deploy via vertical air assault. These sea-based airborne insertion assets remain stationed near the Persian Gulf to respond to regional crises driven by the Islam. Yeah, so it's not just the ones at the, Tripoli or Boxer. There are many other troops in the region beyond that could be really, moved at a moment's notice. So, okay. And thank you, Justin. And Amy, thank you so much for the super chat saying, did you get Telegram? Oh, let me see. Did you message me on Telegram? Today I've been really. Can you message me again? Oh, wait, hold on. I got it right now. Oh, okay, I saw it. I will look into. I'll add it to the list for today to take a look. It's a post by President Trump regarding the sister of Lindsey Graham. Thank you, Emmy. Okay, I just saw it only now. And thank you for the super chat. Casey with the super chat saying, I hope the Sheikh shows up to the yes in the group call. I
Sheikh
hope so.
Bulbul.
Sheikh Bulbul. And then we got another. This is a
I
comment.
start this. Justin, look, this is the guy that I was talking about. It's not you. Like, you talk to us a lot. You donate a lot. I don't got no ill will to you. I just want you to go back and look at what this guy is saying. And you know what? Maybe you'd be slinging shit harder than me. And monkeys love to sling shit. Right? So I don't want you to take it personal. This is just a demonstration so that everybody in the chat that might have taken my tone to think that it's about everyone else here, so you can see specifically what's going on here.
Yes. And also you this Nani, I don't know who you are. You have no idea what you're talking about. I'm Iranian. I talk to Iranians all the time. I review polls by Iranian opinions. So I don't know. Give me a source or you're not relevant. Then okay, Justin with another super chat saying, I apologize. Thank you for clarifying. Yes, we can move in invasion forces very quickly, but I'm saying all this to tamp down all the rhetoric about big attack, imminent, implying invasion. Yes, you're right. Like Monkey also agrees that it's not probably, even if there is some ground operation, it's not going to be like you're right, Mikey. Like, you don't expect something like Iraq, like 20 years ago, with 300,000 boots on the ground. No. That's not what you're expecting. No. Yes. Exactly.
Not only that, I don't expect it before a large air campaign. Like, until I see a large air campaign, I would not expect one boot on the ground. So the first thing I'm expecting to see, if there were some kind of like, okay, we don't recognize these people in power, we're going to do a humanitarian mission from the south because all their power stations are off. So we're going to like start giving them water and power, and we're going to go from the south to the north with a humanitarian mission. That's the kind of thing I'm talking about. I'm not talking about like a large ground invasion, especially before a large air campaign.
Right. Let's get a quick update from Jesse Waters for people who might not know what the hell's going on, because I love his updates.
Fox News alert, the big kahuna has been called off. Trump and Iran back at the table.
We had an attack that would be the biggest attack since World War II, and it would have been disastrous for them. And they didn't want us to do it. They said, please don't do it. And their neighbors said that too. And so we're just going to see whether or not we can make a deal toward the denuclearization.
Over the weekend, Trump said we were locked and loaded, but we're talking again. The Dow popped 700 points, closing at an all-time high. Oil's down to $80 a barrel.
Oh, Mikey, I thought somebody in the chat said like U.S. is losing. Look at this here.
Over the weekend, Trump said we were locked and loaded, but we're talking again. The Dow popped 700 points, closing at an all-time high.
The Dow is at an all-time. This is what losing looks like. Guys, if winning for the Islamic Republic looks absolute economic devastation, and if that's what your winning looks like, Islamic Republic, and losing for United States means an amazing stock market, an amazing job market, and lower than expected inflation, then by all means, Islamic Republic, please keep winning. Like, keep winning the way you're winning. Yes.
I know the battle that they're losing, and I'm going to highlight it right now. The battle that they're losing is a battle for good microphones on Air Force One. What do you think about that? We need that battle to be won so we can get better audio from these interviews. That's a battle that we need to start winning.
You know what? I think that there needs to be a microphone that just takes your voice, and then instead of trying to remove the background, just recreate the audio with AI in the original person's voice, exactly as it's supposed to be. Just forget about the odd background and anything. Just recreate it from scratch. That's what they should do. But anyways, let's continue.
Oil's down to $80 a barrel. Trump says peace is good for business.
We're ready to go anytime we want. Would I rather make a deal? I'm not looking to kill people. Because people die, a lot of people die, and we don't want that.
In the meantime, CENTCOM's thinking up creative, unconventional ways to punish Iran. All options on the table. One source said that Trump even floated a firework display of airstrikes. Once the president gives the green light, our boys are ready to rock and roll. U.S. paratroopers are conducting small arms training in the Middle East, keeping their skills sharp and lethal. The Army's Chinook helicopters are moving men in firepower, equipped with a howitzer cannon, the fastest bird alive. In the water, our sailors are practicing deep sixing enemy ships, firing Harpoon cruise missiles off attack.
What is this a recent picture? Look
What
at
do you
that
think the
boat.
IRGC is going to do with that video? What do you think is going to happen?
They're gonna say that this is us damaging U.S. Navy.
That's exactly what I thought. That's exactly what I saw this video earlier. Wait till he finishes. He's gonna be like, I know exactly what they're gonna do with this.
Wow.
Practicing deep sixing enemy ships, firing Harpoon cruise missiles off attack submarines. Watch this.
Whoa. Wow.
U.S. forces have eyes everywhere enforcing the wall of steel. You can't sail the strait without us knowing about it.
Captain, you are requested to alter course to 190. If you do not comply, we will compel compliance with force. This is Warship 45. We will monitor your course for compliance at this time. Warship 45 standing by on 16 out.
If any ship doesn't comply, say hello to the F-35.
You know, that's a very special catapult. They can't use a regular catapult because it might hurt this specific plane. So to use this this plane, this jet, you need a very special catapult that it like slowly ramps up. It doesn't go full force like the steam one.
Quick answer. No, I don't want to get into too much into it, but are these fellow grease monkeys like you, Monkey? Are these people over
Yes,
here?
those are those are signals, officer, but you have grease monkeys in the area.
Oh, okay.
The blockade 2.0 has turned away 44 ships and disabled a deuce, bankrupting Iran hundreds of millions of dollars a day. No more shopping sprees for the gay Ayatollah. Speaking of, you better play ball.
This is the last chance. This is not something that, if it doesn't happen, this is the last chance for them to sign a good document. I want to give them every last chance before decapitation. It's very tough to do what we have planned, still planned.
I want zero chance, just decapitation of the regime through the military.
You know, less people. Yes, yeah, Monkey. Me too. Monkey. There, not enough people are talking about the blockade anymore. Like the blockade. I know we want a lot more than this, but the blockade being back on is very significant for the Islamic Republic. Like it's devastating for the Islamic Republic. I mean, at least some segments of the Islamic Republic.
Well, when did the blockade stop? Because we kept the money, so.
No, yeah. That's a good point.
Did they ever get any food in or any stuff like that? Because we might have let some stuff in that wasn't deemed like under inspection or something. I don't know if they got anything in.
You know what? That's a good question. So let me ask this: the blockade removal by the United States on the Iranian ports allowed the Islamic Republic to sell some oil. However, the revenue from that oil went into account that was supposed to allow the Islamic Republic to buy American food. But now with the ceasefire being over, the United States never gave the the Islamic Republic any of the American food. So does that mean that the Islamic Republic made nothing from the blockade removal and the sanctions waiver? There we go. That's gonna do its own research while we
Like,
talk.
there's another possibility. Like, there's people that could have sent stuff for free. Like, I'm sure China didn't charge anything for whatever they sent.
Yeah, so there was some. No, so yeah, you're right, because there might be ways for China to be able to send money to the Islamic Republic through loopholes. But Scotty B was added though. Scotty B was trying to stop any other way for them to get the money, right?
I was just
So,
wondering if they
yeah.
got a ship full of corn from someone else that wasn't us.
So here's the summary. The temporary sanctions waivers required all oil revenues from the Iranian regime to be deposited into restricted escrow accounts. The regime in Iran was strictly blocked from accessing liquid cash, as funds were meant solely for U.S. agricultural trade. IRGC attacks on commercial shipping in the Persian Gulf on July 7th, 2026, breached the ceasefire agreement. The United States immediately revoked the sanctions waiver and froze all pending oil proceeds in blocked accounts. The Islamic Republic ended up with zero cash, zero food, and lost control over its exported oil value. Wow. Mikey, you saw this coming before. I didn't say, Mikey, to your credit, nobody, and I mean nobody saw this coming that I, at least, nobody that I know of saw this coming except you.
I was extremely specific. They will get nothing and we'll keep the money.
Right. That was a pretty specific prediction that nobody else had, and it came true. So that's kudos to you. that's pretty good. We got wait, let me respond to some super chats. Thank you guys. We got to our goal today. Appreciate you guys. Nima is saying that dude earlier that tried to diss Armin is Koskish. Armin, you always have the best analysis, Dadash. Merci, Dadash. Damn it, yeah. Keep it up. I will. Thank you, Nima. That's very encouraging. Thank you. Thank you, Nima. All right. That's very sweet. That was very sweet. Steak and Beans with a super chat saying, oh, no, not saying anything, but just gifting membership. That's a big gift basket. Thank you so much, Steak and Beans. Thank you so much.
Thank you for yesterday. Went all out supporting the cause here yesterday. Want to thank you for being there, for staying on. Oh my God, all out. Like I think it was like 56 memberships. Like I told them, look, and this is a message I think Armin would approve me telling everyone. We appreciate your support. We just don't want you to put yourself in any financial hardship for us. But if you got it like that, I'm guessing he's like a very well-off person that can be this generous, and I really appreciate. But I just put it out there. We don't want anyone to put themselves in financial hardships, so you can donate. I think Armin would definitely agree.
Only support people financially when you already have taken care of your own finances. You know, if you want to support other people, the most effective way of supporting other people is to first support yourself. The easiest way to be generous is by having financial security. Having financial security puts you in a much better position to be supporting of other people. This is why when the plane is going down, they say put the mask on yourself before you put it on children, because you need to be in a good position to be able to take care of them. Right?
Armin's business tips right here on Liberty Politics.
Thank you. Yeah, but by the way, guys, there is a way for you to support us that costs $0.00, and it's very, very effective, and that is liking the stream. So for anybody who can support us financially, please go ahead and like the stream, because that has a lot of effect. And thank you to everybody who does like the stream.
Comments also help. So, you can go ahead and comment on the stream. My guys, you can go ahead and subscribe and like Armin's stream. And if anyone over there wants to come over here, appreciate that too.
Thank you, guys. Charleston, Amy, with a super chat saying, mostly listening and learning today. Love to Armin, Ali, Mods, and chat. Thank you, Charleston. Thank you, and love to you as well. And also for the monkey, love for the monkey, and also from Guy. Guy, yes, don't forget Guy.
I love that guy.
And for Amy. Justin with a super chat saying, that's footage of us using decommissioned USS. How do you pronounce this? Can you read this?
Felilu.
Fililo as target practice. Is that right, Mikey?
I believe so. Like I wouldn't doubt it because we do that a lot when we decommission a ship. We also you have to train on something, and that's what we use.
Okay. Well, thank you for letting us know. Steak and beans
Usually,
with a
when they sink,
what?
they become coral reefs, so it's also good for the environment. Like these people, when they use that, they remove all the oil, they make sure it's very clean, like on the OSHA safe and all that. Like they make sure it's all just rust that can become just coral.
Okay. Um. Yeah, it would be so much fun to swim around it. When that happens. I used to go diving, but that was a long time ago. Steak and beans with a super chat saying Trump will do himself a great favor and not talk if he doesn't talk anymore. He's exhausting his credibility fast. And in November, we will have Congress of Marxists, nihilists, communists, and fascists. Wow, that sounds fantastic. What do you think about that? Do you think like
I
he should just
think
stop talking?
what we have in our indications is everywhere that the DSA is winning, their chances in the you know how at the beginning before the primary nomination voting happened, these DSA people they were like, oh my, everyone was saying they're worried about the DSA, but the Democrats are going to win the midterm. Everywhere that they went, that chance bottomed because wherever there was a DSA, the DSA and these extreme leftists are not liked or supported by the majority of the left. Because we see a lot of the extreme leftists on the news, there's this the false reality that believes they're widely supported. That is not so. The real division is on the left. There is far more unity on the right. Most of the people that support Tucker Carlson, Candace Owens, Fuentes are third worlders pretending to be MAGA, trying to create that illusion of a significant part of the vote. They're not real.
Hmm.
But point is, stay
Hopefully,
hopeful,
stay hopeful.
but
Hopefully,
go
you're right.
vote.
Yeah. All right. Thank you, Steak and Beans. Hopefully that doesn't happen, what you just said. Um, okay, so Emma, thank you so much for the super chat saying, my sarcastic pro-Shah Iranian co-worker, when after years of discussion realized he has finally turned me, a lib white woman, I, I've created oh, this is what he said. I've created a monster. Well, guys, look at that. This is why, see, this is why I'm telling you that Iranians are an asset. You don't look at Iranians as people that you need to just you need to be helping. Look at Iranian people as people who could be helping you. See, they're a force for good in the United States, right?
This is
They're
evidence of what I said. Like most of the left, this is the person that says, "Yeah, I can't hang with the left the way they are now. They've gone too far."
yes.
This woman kind of like came to the conclusion that the right is not so extreme and the left has gotten very extreme.
Yeah, Iranian people being Marxist, anti woke, could help have a huge effect in your country when it comes to fighting the information battle, because a lot of progressive people look at them and they're like, they're Middle Eastern, right? So they have their guards down, because they're not white, and for some reason that's an advantage, and they just listen to you more, right? Like white men and women who are self-hating or think that the West is bad, when somebody from the Middle East is coming out saying like, USA, and I love America, they love the West, like, why is this Middle Eastern person talking like this? Like they listen to that person more than they would listen to a white person. Right? Reese, what I'm talking about, Monkey? That's why they're an asset sometimes, I think, to fight.
Yeah,
That's
like
why.
people who experience that kind of life no more. There's people from Iran, people from China. Like there's Eileen Gu, whose father lived in China, told her about the time over there. I think her name is Yeoming Park, which is from North Korea, who escaped and showed what that kind of life is like. The best examples of this is people who lived under it. The apostates, we know many apostates. They can tell us what it's like to live under Islam. People who lived under these things are the best asset we have.
Yes. Okay. Yes. And Emma, welcome to the dark side, I guess. Thank you for being with us. Thank you for joining us. Monkey, I need, given that I need to go to the washroom really quick, what do you think is going to happen right now?
Oh my God. Okay. Piers or Nick or CNN, one of those. It's Nick.
Yeah,
Okay.
Nick. Okay, you could, yeah. Apparently, you could tolerate Nick a little bit. Okay, so guys, let's see what he thinks about the most recent developments. Again, guys, we are anti Nick Fuentes here. The reason why we listen to him is we want to see what our ideological enemies are thinking about the situation, so that we have a better understanding of the other side of this. Okay, so let's listen to this. I'll be right back.
Our featured story is about the war in Iran. Another day. Day 157. Get ready for day 157 of our ongoing coverage of the U.S.-Iran war. You're never going to guess what happened. It's a big surprise. Everyone is totally shocked. So Trump was threatening to bomb Iran on Saturday. We talked about it all week last week. They were moving F-16s, F-35s, refueling aircraft, getting everything in place for what Trump described as the largest bombing campaign since World War II against Iran. He said Saturday was the deadline. This Saturday that just passed, this weekend. He said if the Iranians did not make a deal by Saturday, then we were going to decisively bomb the regime. It would last 2 weeks. Like I said, biggest airstrike since World War II. Trump put in a notice to Saudi Arabia, Qatar, Jordan, Israel, and basically said, prepare for the worst because the war is about to blow up. And then guess what happened? At the last minute, literally on Saturday night, Trump goes on Truth Social and says, you know what? Never mind. Would you like to know why? Trump gets on Truth Social and says, never mind, I called off the attack because Iran is begging us to make a deal. They really want to make a deal more than anyone even realizes. So we're pausing the attack until diplomacy can prevail. And then you're never going to guess what happened after that. You're never going to guess what happened immediately after Trump says this. Moments after Trump announces the strike has been called off because the Iranians begged for another chance at diplomacy, what did the Iranians do? They immediately denied it. The Iranians came out on Saturday as quickly as Trump announced the strikes were off and said, that's not true. We didn't ask for diplomacy at all. We didn't ask to negotiate. We are not negotiating with the United States. There are no talks. We don't want to talk to the United States. We didn't agree to anything. And then guess what happened next? Today, on Monday, Trump goes on Truth Social and says, these Iranians are duplicitous bastards. I swear they asked for negotiations. If they don't make a deal, then what? We're going to bomb them. Honestly, if they don't make a deal, then what's going to happen? We're going to make another empty threat. We're going to make another idle threat to annihilate their civilization. It's going to be the biggest thing since the 30-year war. So we're back where we started. So we're going to get into everything that happened in Iran. It's literally.
What do you think about, I mean, this is now, it's not just him. Everybody is making, and I know, Monkey, you're going to say you don't care about optics, right? But I don't know, this is going to affect, there's a lot of memes going around. There's a lot of people now making fun of President Trump. This is the 5th time he said something big is going to happen and it didn't. What is your response to this?
I know Nick hates the Jews, but if I blacked the screen or I just had his voice and I used a voice changer and no one knew it was Nick, I could get so many Israelis to see, yes, exactly what he said. Yes, what the hell? Yes, because this is not just something that Jew haters believe. This is something that is echoing everybody's sentiment on this. Look, if you're gonna wait, just wait. Don't talk about they want a deal. That like there's so much talk around it that I think it would just like you could say fog of war, 64D Jenga, 5D chess, whatever. What like at some point you're doing just as much confusion by talking than not talking, but not talking is affecting your support, but talking is affecting your support. Like if he would just not say what's going on, not say why he paused it. We had some breaking information. It's not because of a deal. It's like we had some information that led us to pause the strikes. They might resume tomorrow or the day after. Just leave them like they're just edging. That would be just as effective. But they keep talking about it and having these public discussions. At some point, you're eroding your base because you're making everyone who supports you say, "Yeah, let's go." He said it. You're making us look like fools.
Yeah. So you basically say whatever you think President Trump should just stop talking, whatever he's doing.
I think everybody's saying the same thing. Like his supporters are the ones that saying talking. Everyone else is saying, "Look at him! What an idiot! He did it again. He just keeps bullshitting." Right? If I'm telling you something, if I put a voice changer on that thing, I could get half of Israel to say, "Yes, whoever that is, great guy, love him. Keep talking, brother." That's the problem with that video.
Texas has a good point in the chat saying, wait, I thought Israel controlled Trump and he is Israel first. Yeah, why would he stop? If he's completely controlled by Israel, Monkey, why would he stop this attack? Wouldn't Israel want the attack to go on?
Well, I think that statement just bitch slapped Nick Fuentes. I think that's what Texas just took Nick Fuentes and gave him a big old slap. So thank you, Texas, for slapping right in his face.
Yes, thank you, Texas. Bill with the with the jewels. Thank you so much. Why does it say happy poop? I don't know. Okay, thank you.
It might be like an emoji that shows up.
Yes. I think it's because I went to the washroom. That's why I put it there. Thank you, Bill. Kevin, thank you so much. Thank you. Say, just gifting one membership to somebody in the chat. Oh, Cappy, not Kevin. Cappy. Thank you, Cappy. And then Michelle with a super chat is saying, during COVID, from what I can tell, city centers in Iran close to nuclear and military sites were hit hardest with COVID outbreaks. Do you think that was a coincidence? I mean, I never saw that happening, but it could be a coincidence. I could look.
I have an idea how that could be. Something you mentioned. The people who are most in the military for show or for whatever reason are closer to religious centers, and they don't care so much about cross contamination at a religious center.
Yeah, let me actually look into this really quickly. Okay, I think they have it. I have it here. Okay, so the early COVID-19 epicenter under the regime in Iran was Qom in February 19, 2020, located right next to the Fordo nuclear facility. Key cities near nuclear and military infrastructure like Qom, Esfahan, and Tehran suffered the worst initial outbreaks in early 2020. Chinese technicians working on industrial and nuclear projects traveled between Wuhan and major military adjacent cities throughout early 2020. Oh, so that's the reason. IRGC-controlled Mahan Air continued commercial and logistic flights to China during February 2020, spreading the virus rapidly. So, because the IRGC people were the ones going to China and back. The Iranian regime suppressed the true outbreak figures while military movements spread COVID across strategic hubs near the Persian. Yeah, okay, so it's because the IRGC people were going to China and back, and those were the areas that they were active.
Oh, and they sent infected people, apparently, right? They said that also Chinese workers. So China attacked Iran. Oh my God. No, but I think that the cross-contamination thing that I talked about was also a problem over there. That might have also been true.
Yeah, maybe. Okay, look at this regarding collecting tolls. President Trump on the Strait of Hormuz.
Anybody's going to charge, we'll charge. We're the one that has toll.
Yeah, people are asking us to ban somebody in the chat. I don't. Who are you guys talking about? I'm not even seeing that guy.
The none your business guy.
I don't know.
I don't think
Can't
he's
you
here
block?
anymore.
I don't even see him. Can you not? No, they're talking about somebody else that I don't even see.
Oh well, if they're spamming, if you guys see a spammer, let us know, because spamming is not allowed.
Yeah, and you guys know you can block somebody that you don't like, right? You don't have to wait for me. They're looking for Rover Bet 38. And guys, don't make ultimatums to me. You can block people you don't like. I don't even see that person. So I don't even know what
I see them, but I don't see them spamming. I don't see them putting the same message over or all caps. They're arguing with GTA. Yeah, look, just block that guy. Just block him. You don't have to talk to him.
Yeah, he's not.
Some of you guys will have the patience to argue with him. If you guys want to argue with him, that's fine too. You know.
Yeah.
He's not. Yeah, Texas Troop would have gotten him if he was spamming.
Yeah, Texas. Our admins are doing a great job. Thank you, admins. Thank you.
Anybody's going to charge, we'll charge. We're the one that has total. We have total control. You know, we have a thing called a blockade with his Navy. And that Navy is, they call it a wall of steel, the United States wall of steel. And no, there's not going to be charging. We're not talking about charging at all. There won't be charging. Anybody's going to.
All right, so this means that this war is not going to stop. I mean, as long as President Trump stays on this, criteria, like this is something that he's going to not change his mind on. There's going to be no charging. Well, the Islamic Republic would want to charge. President Trump is saying we're not going to be charging. I mean, even if you forget everything else, nuclear, Wuhan, proxies, you put that aside, the fact that the Islamic Republic is not going to give up on controlling the Strait of Hormuz, and the fact that the United States is not going to give up on not allowing the Islamic Republic to have the Strait of Hormuz, we're going to be here and indefinitely until the Islamic Republic falls. Just by that alone. Right.
Yes.
Sticky beans. Yes. Sticky beans with a super chat saying many Israelis I talked to here believe Trump's very bad to Israeli future. Made deals with IRGC and Hamas by Turkey, Qatar, Egypt. Deals regarding Israel and Israel and they are excluded from the talks twice. So I know a lot of Israelis are getting frustrated with the situation and President Trump not attacking and also dealing with Turkey, Qatar, and Egypt. However, we do have to remember that the United States President Trump made the 40-day war possible. Like, as strong as Israel is, the 40-day war required United States, and other presidents would not have gone along with the 40-day war, and President Trump did. And because of the 40-day war, Israel's main enemy is weaker than it has ever been. So I understand a lot of I have a lot of criticism for President Trump. I do. Okay. But at the same time, we do have to appreciate that if it wasn't for President Trump's decision to go with the Operation Epic Fury, the Islamic Republic would be in a much stronger position today than ever before. So I'm not saying we shouldn't be criticizing President Trump. There's a lot of criticism that I agree with, right? But I think we should do that while acknowledging the things that has been done that has gone in our favor, in everyone's favor. Does that make sense, Monkey?
Look, I've heard a lot about my government didn't do what I wanted. My government did what you wanted. Well, pick a different government. How is that my fault? I didn't vote for your I didn't put your military in power. I didn't vote for whoever your leadership. If your leadership doesn't obey your sentiment, doesn't do what you think is right for your people, you need to that's on you. Like if Israel obeys the US, that's a problem between you and your government. Right? Like it's my job to get someone that works in my interest. If you can't get your government or you don't understand that it's in your interest, you can't blame Americans for that. We don't make these deals. We just elect somebody that we think is going to be in our best interest. If your guy is doing something by agreeing to someone on the outside that you don't think is in your interest, you have the democratic way to get them out. You're one of the few people in the Middle East that can do something about it. You can't blame us for that. Use your own electoral system to work it out.
I mean, I don't think it's like blaming all of US, and I think people from around the world have, it's okay for them to have express their opinions regarding whether or not they like certain politicians from other countries, and also the politicians of their own country that they might want to change but they can't, because the electoral process is not like, it's not like that it's that direct. Like, for example, we comment on Spain's prime minister and we criticize him, even though we're not Spanish and we have no influence over whether or not he gets elected or not. And sometimes we also criticize, like Americans criticize politicians who are like in power, that they might have done their best to remove the person that they don't like, but still that person is still in power. And I think like it's okay for people to comment on anything, whether positively or negatively, whenever they want. I think that's fine. No.
Look, here's the thing. I'm not talking about those people. I'm talking about the people who aggressively argue with Americans in the chat, saying, "You're president, and why do you people hold us back?" Those people.
That makes sense. Yes. Okay. Yeah. Okay. I agree. All right. Let me see. We did this one. And
completely agree with what you said, though.
Yeah. Okay. No, I understand. I understand what you meant. I also completely agree with what you're saying. We're like, oh, you Americans did this or did that. Like, no, I didn't. They're like, no, I didn't. Like you're blaming Americans, for example, for something that Biden did. Like, well, I don't like Biden. And like, okay, I'm blaming Americans for something Trump did. Okay, I might have voted for Trump, but that doesn't mean that I like everything that he does. Like, how am I supposed to be blamed? Right? Like, what did I do?
Something Netanyahu did.
Yes.
Mr. President, this is at least the fifth time you've turned off airstrikes against Iran since April to negotiate. What is your message to the American people who are wondering what has changed this time? Why should it be anything?
Well, you don't know. I don't know. I think we're going to maybe get something, but I want to give them every last chance before decapitation. Very tough to do what we have planned, still planned. We'll see what happens. But it's a very, very tough thing to do. I think I'm very proud of the fact that I'll give people a chance. This is a big move. To do an attack that big on a country, I'd rather not do it. Now, we've already through lots of large attacks, but they were normal large. Hopefully they'll come to their senses, because what happened cannot have a nuclear weapon, but hopefully they'll come to their senses. So they called me. And they said, please don't attack. We'll make a deal. That's the real truth. And everyone knows it.
Every last chance before decapitation. So I'm hoping that means decapitation will be underway soon. Right? Every last.
This was yesterday, right?
This was yeah. This was
so ago. After this chance, they struck more ships at night, right? Because that's the last thing. Like during my show, there was a strike. Like before the end of it, like around 20 minutes into it, there was a strike. I think it was in Kuwait.
Yes. Yeah.
All right, then. Let's, blow it up or shut up.
So I'm going to steelman President Trump. Okay, steelman him. So when we have a deal, it takes a couple of hours or days for that to actually change the behavior on the ground. You know what I mean? Like
in 2026.
Yeah, like if you like sign, yeah, I mean, we need to. It's going to be difficult. Like, let's say I made promises that I'm going to get everything in order, right? Like, obviously, there's some people in the Islamic Republic who hate that, and they're going to be shooting at ships right after I'm talking to you. But let me just give me just a little bit. I'll figure this out. Like, I don't believe in what I'm saying. I'm just trying to tell you that President Trump like, just give me a few hours until I could figure this out. Like, give me some time, just a little bit of time to do this. You know what I mean? I'm just trying to steelman President Trump not reacting to the recent ship attacks.
Look, I think you could call your people and say, "Hey, stop."
Well, it's not
Run
that
it down the
simple. I
line.
need to go. It's not that simple. I need to go put some pressure where it's needed, and I have that pressure, but it will take a little bit to have that effect. These people, the people that I'm dealing with, they are so much against the negotiation that as soon as this is announced, they're going to attack some ships. Okay, maybe I will just tell that during the meeting. Like, listen, as soon as this comes out that we're talking, some ships will be attacked. But as soon as I hang up on this call, we're going to go make some arrangements for that not to happen. How about that?
Oh my God. Okay, let's say I grant it. Fine.
All right.
Let's
so,
give you 2 days, but like more than 2 days? Does it take more than 48 hours? Okay.
No, 2 days.
Well,
After 2
let's let it pan out.
All right, see, guys, I was the Islamic Republic in that talk, and Monkey was President Trump. So we made a deal, guys. 48 hours, and Monkey is gonna decapitate me apparently in 48 hours.
No, neither one of your heads. No.
Oh my God, what the fuck? All right, let's go back. I'm not even gonna ask. Here, let me go to this one.
Oh my God, you made it weird.
Not very complex. We're talking about the Strait, the opening of the Strait, having it open literally by tomorrow, completely open. And that's phase one. And phase two is we then will talk about the nuclear capacity, the nuclear, as we've been mentioning. Basically, it's, I think most say, the denuclearization of Iran has to happen one way or the other. It's not very complex.
Wait, so talks will go quickly one way or another. It's not very complex. We're talking about opening the Strait tomorrow, completely open. So this was yesterday. Then we will talk about nuclear capacity of Iran. So tomorrow, he said this yesterday. Tomorrow will be open. Is it open now?
I haven't seen Fleshy Interloper.
Fleshy, are you here? Is the Strait open right now? Because President Trump said today. Yesterday, he said tomorrow will be open. Yesterday, President Trump said that the Strait would be open by tomorrow. So tomorrow is today. Is it open today? Okay, go on, Monkey.
I was gonna say that I think someone needs to get it to him. Hey, what if they someone has to put that question in this? What if instead of nuclear weapons, they make biological weapons through gain of function research? Are you going to be inspecting that? How are you going to stop them if they decide, okay, we'll just find a different weapon? How does that protect us in the future? I want that question asked in the White House. Like, can you protect us from the next Wuhan? I want that question asked to his face. Okay, let's say they give up the dust and the weapons and let you inspect. What's going to protect us from the next Wuhan being weaponized and coming from Iran? How are you going to stop that if you leave these crazy people in power? We might just switch weapons. Look, they already had this idea. All right, Insomniac. Look, homie, my love to you. We did you might not be aware, but Armin did a look into it, a little look-see, and they've started that since December last year.
Yeah. One problem with that, Monkey, is that they would not be able to contain it only towards their enemies. It will come, wouldn't that spread into their own territory?
I don't think they care.
I mean, their businesses are in Iran. Everything will be shut down. They will stop making money. They don't care about people's lives.
Strike.
Yeah. So I looked this up. So commercial ships are physically passing today, but daily traffic is down nearly 90% from their pre-crisis levels. And yesterday, a cargo ship was hit by a projectile near Oman, providing the passage proving the passage is still highly dangerous. Yeah, so that was yesterday. I'm talking about today. Ships that attempt the passage rely heavily on armed military escorts through the. So even the ship. So only 10% of the traffic is going through, and that is with escort, with like protection, escorts from the U.S. military. And the regime is only allowing a selective transit. So the Strait of Hormuz is not open today. So hopefully that means we're going to go boom, boom at some point soon.
Also, when you create a weaponized version, you have a cure for it that you keep for yourself. It's not the same as a leak like what happened in Wuhan. We're talking about weaponization, which is a different animal.
You know, I don't happen to be running, but a lot of very good Republicans are running. And you have a sick ideology taking place right now that, you know, hopefully they'll be defeated because they'll destroy the country if they ever take over. But this desk is like a blocking desk, no matter who gets in. If it's bad, I block, and I'm good at blocking. If it's bad, if it's stupid things like the things they want to do, we want to get rid of the U.S. Senate. I don't like a lot of Senate, just to be honest with you. I don't want to get rid of the Senate. We want to get rid of the Supreme Court. They want to put now 21 or 23 people, that's the real, on the Supreme Court, or get rid of it. They want to get rid of the presidency. They want to have an appointed executive running. That's a communist thing, you know, that's a communist thing. These are sick people. And, you know, I said it the other day, and it maybe doesn't sound that important, but when a country goes bad, like look at the blue cities, what do they have in common aside from massive crime? Much more crime. The Republicans have very little crime. But what do the blue cities have in mind? And also you can say this with nations when they go bad. The blue cities have something in common: crime, high crime, vicious, violent crime. But what do they have in common? They're all dirty. They're filthy dirty. Their streets are dirty. Their streets smell. Their storefronts are broken. Their trees are all gross. Everything about the place is dirty. And I don't want to mention any specific city. It's really all of them. But you go into these cities that are blue, they're crime-ridden, and they're filthy dirty. They're like Washington, D.C. was a year and a half ago, with graffiti all over the place, with crime all over the place, with people afraid to be here. You had to be ashamed of your capital. Some of the most beautiful buildings built in the real time. Like you look at the Supreme Court building and they put graffiti on it. The most beautiful columns I've ever seen. In fact, our columns are going to be nicer at the ballroom. I said, I want the Supreme Court, but better. But you look at those columns, how magnificent, and then you see graffiti on the side of the building. No artistry, just bad people. But the one thing they all have in common, crime, the two things, crime, but they're disgusting. They're filthy dirty. The streets are dirty. They have people lying all over the street doing you know what. They're all the same. And this is what we're going to put in it. Not going to happen in our country. You know,
this is what you talk about a lot, Monkey, right?
I hate blue cities. Not the city itself, the people in charge. It's a vicious cycle. Like all the business has to move because small business can't afford, no felony charges up until $200 of shoplifting, right? A small business can't afford it. Walmart can afford it, but a small business can't. And once all the small businesses are gone, like small business, if you say, oh, we're increasing the wages to $20 an hour, well, I got to fire some people or pack it up, because I can't afford that. And all the people that were okay with 15 or okay with 10 now have to, get half of their hours or a quarter of their hours. Like and do 4 times the work. Like this destroys blue city politics, destroys local businesses. So those people that can't move are forced to depend on the government, and to get more support, they'll vote on left. Crime doesn't create, poverty doesn't create crime, but crime creates poverty. And these crime favorable policies, lax on crime policies, create poverty because you can't do business in a crime-ridden zone.
Yep, fair point. Sticking beans with a super chat. Do you want to read this one?
Appreciate the past is worthless if he makes a U-turn. Blaming is not the right word, monkey. He makes deals with our enemies. We could operate with sharing weapons tech, intel, etc. U.S. have base here. No, I understand that, but I'm talking about the people that get aggressively against the first American they see. You guys did this to us. Your president did this to us, and I'm like, I'm not in charge of Netanyahu. I don't think Trump is, or he shouldn't be. Like, that's something for you guys to discuss. Like, don't get mad at me. I'm just a chatter. Like, that's what I see sometimes arguments in the chat. That's what I'm talking about. It's very much about the individual citizens.
Right. And I do think that the concern that Israelis have when United States government deals with the people in the Middle East who, are anti-Israeli, the concerns are understandable, and a lot of them are justified from their perspective, and I appreciate them voicing that out, And
I assure you,
that.
we don't want to give an F-35 to Turkey or a nuclear reactor to the Saudis.
Yes. Thank you, Sticky Beans. Thank you for the super chat. Oh, you start 2 comments. You want to read the comments that you start?
Yes. Sanction the monkey. Yes, that may be the appropriate course. I mean, I can't argue with it. And Captain Ron says, "Do not kill the messenger." No. My guy, never been wrong. Trump will never do a full attack. JD told Trump if he pulls the trigger, he will resign. Oh my God, don't threaten me with a good time. So we're talking about Vice President Rubio? I wish he would resign. If he resigns, he'll become JD Pence. And he won't have a political future. He may try to form a new party with Marjorie Taylor Greene and what's his name, Tucker Carlson, but they're going to have as much success no matter how much money you pour in as Kamala did. A lot less, I would say. Like if they think they're going to split the right because JD, I wish to God JD would resign. Oh my God. Now I want the attack even more just to get JD to resign and make Marco Rubio the vice president.
I don't think JD Vance said that because President Trump does not respond at all to threats like he would respond.
Look, he says he has a source. I'm just taking it at face value. Like, I'm not trying to dismiss it, and I'm not trying to say I fully believe it. I'm just saying don't threaten me with a good time because I'm about to party if that happens.
I don't think he would say that though. And then we got a super chat from Sticking Beans. Thank you, Sticking Beans, saying, "I suspect Trump told Iranians stay in because he doesn't want Islamic Republic to fall. Towards the end of February, first of all, respond to that part. I don't think that's true. I think they asked the Iranian people to stay in because their intelligence showed that their plan was to get some weapons in. That plan didn't work, and their data showed that if the Iranian people rise up, it would just be another massacre. That's why they told them to stay in. They have the data. One side has machine guns, the other one doesn't. That's why they asked him to stay in. Towards the end of February, the February war, so Bibi told him, "I am going to call the people out and supply a drones cover." Trump said, "Not yet. Second later ceasefire." So Bibi also came out and said, "Now it's not the time." Bibi also said that. I remember that. So I don't know where you're getting that Bibi told President Trump that I'm going to call the people out. By the way, it's the Iranian people, when they come out, it will be when Prince Reza Pahlavi, the call to action will come from Prince Reza Pahlavi. So I don't know. That's what the Iranian people will respond to, and I don't think so, because I remember specifically Prince Reza Pahlavi, Prime Minister Netanyahu, President Trump, and Admiral Cooper, all four of them were telling the Iranian people to stay inside. So you're saying President Trump told the Iranian people to stay inside so that the Islamic Republic doesn't fall. But then how do you stick in beans? And how do you explain that Prince Reza Pahlavi was saying the same thing? Prince Reza Pahlavi was also saying now it's not the time. Remember that? So all four of them were consistent. because if they came, the regime would not fall, and we would have just another tens of thousands of Iranians dying.
Let me explain something about airstrikes. You don't want to be outside.
Right. Actually, that's a good point, guys. Like the Iranian people, the chances of an uprising happening while military operations are happening at the same time are very low, like very low. Not impossible, but very low. Right? That's
Yeah.
Yeah. So let me see this. Sometimes it could happen, like if you get the notification that Khamenei just died, it could happen. But here's what the Islamic Republic did. Khamenei, when Khamenei died, they immediately filled the streets with people from their side, because they were so afraid that there's going to be an uprising because of the news of Ali Khamenei's death, that they flooded the streets with their own jihadi Durka people to push back against an uprising happening. So the combination of you being under airstrikes and the regime supporters being in the streets and the fact that you're still unarmed and your enemy has machine guns, all of that combined makes an uprising very unlikely.
I think he has our last response there.
Oh, here. Towards the end, BB did want to call them out. Where's the source for that?
I never heard that.
I never heard that. Let me see. Somebody is suggesting that Prime Minister Netanyahu, at the end of the 40-day war against the Islamic Republic, wanted to call out the Iranian people to come out, but President Trump didn't disagree and stop that. I didn't see anything like that happening. Is that true? Did that happen? Look this up. So I'm gonna let that run while I look at the next super chat. Amir, thank you for the super chat, saying Iranians remember to put tapes on your windows. Yes, every time we think that a strike is coming, I mean that's one of them. Monkey, we were so ready for the attack on February 28th that a day before the attack on the Persian Channel, we gave a day before, we gave a list of things people need to do. Like, it's crazy. Like, it's almost as if we knew exactly when the attack is going to happen. We had in our show, we told them, tape your windows, fill up your tanks with gas in your cars, have cash on hand. Those are the main three advice that we gave to people. Cash on hand.
But you got a lot of thanks for that.
What? Yes.
There were people like, oh my God, you were absolutely, I'm so glad I filled the tank. I'm so glad I got some cash.
Yes. And Amir, that's a great suggestion. Good. Thank you for that. Also, let me look at the results of that thing. Let me see Netanyahu. Okay. So here it says reports confirm Prime Minister Netanyahu proposed a joint Israel-U.S. call urging citizens to overthrow the Iranian regime on March 24, 2026. President Donald Trump personally... Yeah?
I was gonna ask, like, to say the New Year celebration thing, wasn't that like more like, that you should be able to celebrate the New Year, not necessarily go overthrow the government? Because I don't know if these are the same thing.
Yeah, I mean, if the uprising, it wouldn't make any sense though, because it would be another massacre. The Iranian people were still unarmed. Says President Trump personally shut down the plan during a phone call between the two leaders on March 24th. I mean, honestly, I think Trump, usually I agree with Bibi, but I think on this one, I agree with Trump. That was not the right time. Trump feared that inciting a public uprising against the Islamic Republic would spark severe civilian massacre by the IRGC. I agree with that. I mean, Netanyahu proposed it. He wasn't saying like, so it's a little bit different. So you're kind of right, but you're kind of wrong. So you made it seem like the way you talked about it made it seem like Netanyahu was going to do it, and Trump said like, don't you dare. But the way I'm reading it is like he's suggesting it like as a proposal to consider, and Trump said no. Not like I was gonna like he was gonna do it by himself. It wasn't like Bibi was gonna go just do it by himself. It was like, hey, should we do this? And we're like, no, because there would be a massacre.
Look, I have a lot of respect and admiration for the ADF, but having an ongoing air cover for people is not, I think, something that the IDF can accomplish by itself. So anything that has to do with ongoing air cover for people on the ground would have to be coordinated. And telling people to go out without air cover, to go out on the ground without air cover would be extremely dangerous.
Yes. There was some drone coverage by the Israelis during the New Year and Charshambeh celebrations. And Sticky Beans is actually referring to that right now. Sticky Beans saying also told the Iranian to go celebrate the New Year, and he supplied cover. Yes, I remember that with drones. I remember that very clearly. On March 17th, Prime Minister Netanyahu explicitly told the Iranian public to celebrate Nowruz and promised that Israeli air assets would provide protective cover overhead. I remember those days, yes. Sticky Beans, thank you so much. MQ, thank you so much for the jewels. Those were the good days. Justin with a super chat saying, I will go as far as to say to any Iranians in Iran watching right now to not only don't go outside during strikes, but also to stay away from windows and go to the most interior part of your home. Yeah, that's good advice. But so many people in Iran, as soon as they hear boom, boom, they come to the window instead of away from the window with their phones trying to record what happened. And then they send it outside to the rest of us. So that's what they do. Like everybody keeps telling them, like, move away from the windows, but they do exactly the opposite. A lot of times, not all of the time. And thank you, Justin. That's good advice. And Sticky Beans with the super chat saying, yes, Armin, you're right. He proposed. He asked Trump. Yes. Thank you. And thank you for the clarification. And Fickle Nut with a super chat saying, Armin and Monkey, the Kurds are getting involved now, right? Is that a factor of a delay, do you think? So the Kurds, if by Kurds you mean separatist groups, I encourage you not to refer to the separatist groups as the Kurds, because the vast majority of Iranian Kurdish people are against the separatist groups. And yes, well, I mean, they're not getting involved into liberating Iran, those separatist groups that you're talking about. Right now, there is a war, there is a military escalation happening between the separatist groups and the IRGC, the Kurdish separatist groups and the IRGC. And those separatist groups are not fighting to liberate Iran. They're attacking Iran. They're not attacking IRGC. They're attacking Iran, actual Iran. Right. So whenever you see the Kurdish people attack IRGC, you hear the Iranian people say, like, I hope you both win. I hope you both manage to take out as many people from the other side as possible. Okay, because remember, the attack of the separatist groups against the Islamic Republic is not for the sake of defeating the Islamic Republic. They're anti-Iranian. And I see you're saying right. And it is, and you're right. It is connected because the IRGC, both sides are motivated to do military operations against each other right now. From the separatist group's perspective, the IRGC is busy and weakened right now because of American Israelis attacks. So this is a good time to attack them and see if they could, because of the distractions, take more out of them. But the IRGC also kind of welcomes this because they try to change the narrative to that we're actually defending Iran and the border integrity of Iran against our enemies, rather than suppressing the Iranian people. They want that. They kind of like that narrative. They use this as a way to try to convince some Iranians that if we fall, our borders, Iran would be torn apart. Like, look at the separatists attacking, and we're attacking against them. This is why you shouldn't be fighting for regime change, because as we're speaking, separatist groups are trying to take land away from Iran. So they use this as propaganda to try to make some people skeptical on whether or not regime change is a good idea.
I wanted to add something to this. I want everyone that is Iranian to observe what Armin did here. He's being exemplary. What did he say? I encourage you not to call them Kurds. They're separatists. Yeah, don't call them that. They're not. He didn't go like that. I encouraged you. You see how diplomatic that is, right? Like we could all learn from that. Like you can't say you Jews and your Netanyahu, you Iranians and like no. Be like a little diplomatic when you're talking across country lines to just regular citizens on the other side, because you don't want to feel pressured into talking a certain way. And this, oh my God, it's so good. I would encourage you, like it's so it's understanding, and you're trying to explain the situation, and I really like that. Also, one more point. I just want to shout out all these wonderful donors over here. Y'all going all out today, sending lots of monkey hugs.
Oh, Monkey, you're being so sweet today. That's very nice. Thank you.
Just very appreciative.
Thank you, Monkey. Wow. Okay, that's nice. Oh, my heart. Okay, and thank you, Fickle Nut, and also Fergie, I think, or Guy, maybe, with the jewels. Thank you so much for the jewels. Appreciate you. Appreciate your support. Okay. So let's look at this. Oh, that was so sweet. Thank you, Monkey. Okay, let's push this.
I'm with MS Now, sir.
You who?
MS Now.
MS Now? What a terrible show that is. They have the worst people on that show.
Are there other avenues that you want to see people?
No, there's no other avenues that I know about. Go ahead.
Mr. President, on the Iran talks.
MS Now, that's the failed MSDNC, right?
Yeah.
The failed, they failed. They gave it a new name. You know why? Because nobody watched it. Go ahead. And fewer people are watching it now.
Oh my God! Oh my God! It's so
you know why they sent this guy. You know why he's the new guy. He's the new guy. Let's put him in the front line of fire. We don't want to be like, we know he's gonna get demolished. So let's send the new guy. Send a handsome one. He also compliments the handsome one. Send a nice looking young man to get totally berated and dragged by Trump. Poor slob.
He didn't even answer his question. Goodness. That was brutal.
Look, MSDNC.
Yes. Wow. Okay, guys. So here's something President Trump does that base surface level, I think I'm going to disagree with President Trump here. Don't come at me, guys. Come at me. You're going to be upset with me. I mean, as a capitalist, I think I might disagree with President Trump on this, but it's okay. Let's see what he says.
They're making too much money. Okay.
So Trump, let me give you context. This is President Trump publicly turned on ExxonMobil and Chevron, demanding they give back record profits to consumers as gas prices averaged 4.1 a gallon nationwide, up over 30% since the Iran war started. Okay, I'll let you know why I disagree with President Trump on this, but let me first play it.
They're making too much money. Okay. Based on a shortage, they're making too much money. I don't like it. When we're finished with Iran, you're going to see the prices drop through the floor. But they made too much money. Too much money. Chevron, too much money. ExxonMobil, too much money. When you look at one company where they made 12 times what they made the year before, they're going to give some of that back to the public. And they better cut the retail price, the consumer price. Too much money. You're surprised I'm saying it? I'll say it loud and clear. I'm not happy about it. They're making too
Okay, so the issue is not the issue is the taxes. The issue is the regulation. The issue is the Democrats. When you're saying they're making too much money, that is their job. It's a for-profit company. It's the entire job of a for-profit company is to make as much money as possible. If they're making money, that is them doing what they're supposed to do. That is the system working. Their whole point, they're not a charity. These are a Chevron and ExxonMobil. They're not charity to give back to the community. If they wanted to give back to the community, they will start charity. Like, if they're making too much money, that is good. That's what they're supposed to do. Just if you want lower prices, reduce the taxes on the field. But go on.
Okay, I have a question here. This isn't like even like a comment. It's more of a question. What do you think about price fixing? If companies are coordinating their prices together and creating a pseudo monopoly, is that a good thing? Is that a bad thing? What is your economic stance on this?
That is the worst thing, and that is illegal. And I don't think that's what President Trump is referring to. I might be mistaken, and if you could correct me, I will accept that. But because if that is the most anti-capitalistic thing you could do, and that's why there is laws against that. And President Trump is not telling, because if that's what President Trump is saying, he should be like, we're gonna see you in court. Like he's not accusing them of a crime. That would be a crime. And that's not what he's doing. He's not accusing them of a crime. He's just saying you should give back to the community. You know what I mean?
Let's say just the steel man, he has a suspicion, right? And he's like, hey, I'm not going to tell you you're price fixing because I would be accusing you of a crime and I would have to take action, or I'd be like kind of affecting your stock or some shit, like you're about to get a lawsuit. But I'm telling you without telling you, you better not be price fixing. And that's what this is about.
I just don't think they're price fixing.
I haven't seen across the board, because if it's like a consistent number across the board and they both have the same number, I'd be like, well, that's suspicious. You're the two biggest guys and you have the exact same increase across the board over the whole year. That's a little bit too coincidental.
Because globally, their increases are the same as other energy companies across the globe. They're not price fixing with the rest of the planet. Oil prices are up, they make more money. That's how it works. I mean, if as an American, I would be bragging about my oil companies making more money. Like, yes, this is what I want. Like, we have giant companies that are making record profit. This is good.
This is not an oil company. This is a gasoline company. It's a very different.
Sorry. Energy company. That's what I mean. Energy related companies. That's what I meant. Sorry.
So the price at the pump is not as directly tied, and the percentage. Traditionally, if you look across gas stations, their profits tends to be, I wouldn't say lean, but steady. And if that changed drastically for two companies that are like, these are the two biggest, like these guys got like, I don't know, they have so many gas stations that is a lot. So that's that, because I don't know economics as well as you do. This is why I would say like not off the gut. Like if you were going to look into it deeper, like, would there be any, how would you end it? This is the question I would ask if I was going to ask ChatGPT. How would I know if Chevron and Exxon Mobil are price fixing? That's the question I would ask.
That's a good question. Okay. But like, I will see if they're price fixing right now. But again, that's a completely different accusation. If he's trying to suggest that, that's a completely different accusation, but he's wording it as if he's anti-profit, and as if for-profit companies should give back to the community. For-profit companies should give back to shareholders. That is their job. If you're a for-profit company, you have been hired by your shareholders. So if you give back to the community, that is theft. Okay? If you are a for-profit community, your shareholders have hired the board that hires the CEO and other executives of the company so that they could give you the highest return on investment. If you then take the resources that they gave you to give to the community, then you stole their money. You stole their money. Like, if you want to be charitable with your money. You can't be charitable with other people's money. That's the shareholders' money that they gave you to maximize returns for them. Be charitable with your own money. That's the point of a charity, not a for. But let me answer your question here. So, ExxonMobil and Chevron generated combined net profits exceeding $26 billion in the second quarter of 2026. Supply disruptions caused by the Iranian regime in the Persian Gulf drove crude oil prices well above $90 per barrel. A 9% drop in global refining capacity pushed refining margins and fuel prices to near record levels worldwide. Both companies benefited from record operational output in the Permian Basin and major, I probably mispronounced it.
Permian Basin.
Major Permian Basin and major acquisitions completed in July 2025. While open market commodities dictate crude prices, federal regulations initiated investigations in August 2026 into potential market manipulation and past executive coordination. So there is some research being done to see if that's happening or not. But it could be because we have to see, like, nobody, it's not saying it's happening, but it could be true and it needs to be investigated. But it also could be you have so much supply, they are American companies who are better equipped to take advantage of the changing markets compared to others. You know what I mean? Like it might be just that they're so good at what they do. It could be that.
Well, we have to also take into account that he has the level of access to those investigations that we don't.
Right. So if that's the case, that is justified to go against them. However, I need people who are listening to what President Trump is saying to know, because the messaging sounds, whatever the reason is that you're going against this company,
retarded.
Yes. The messaging sounds that you're against profit. The messaging sounds like you're expecting for-profit companies to act like charities. If you think that there's something else going on here, okay, so be it. But people need to know that for-profit companies need to make maximum profit. That is their job, right?
Look, I think it's a retarded way to say it. I wouldn't say it in such a retarded manner. Right, I think saying it like that is retarded. Is he gonna ask, hey, what's going on with this? What's going on with Exxon? What is there's an investigation going? What's going on with that? Here's the briefing. Oh, well, you know what? They should stop that. Is he talking like a Democrat? Yes, but he was a Democrat for what, 60, 70 years? Like most of his life, it was a Democrat. Like Oprah Winfrey used to love this guy. Like RFK was a Democrat, Donald Trump was a Democrat, Elon Musk was a Democrat, Tulsi Gabbard was a Democrat. Like the Republican Party is full of Democrats. This guy's a Democrat. This is the best example of a Democrat. He's been an exemplary Democrat. There's only one Democrat left in the Democrat Party. The rest of the Democrats are over here. People forget that Trump is a Democrat. He's just a good one. He's the type of Democrat that means what he says in the campaign speech. The other Democrats are a bunch of fakes that are trying to bring in socialism. He's always been a Democrat all his life. There's only one Democrat left in the Democrat Party. That's Fetterman. The rest are socialists. And even with Fetterman, he's more like a populist, kind of like a local county Democrat. He's not really like get into an economic talk about a Democrat, because he might go socialist on you. You know what I'm saying? Like, you have to understand who this man has been most of his life. And that's why he's talking like a retard.
Jehuda is saying Armin takes Trump literally instead of seriously. Well, because the literal words are the words that are out there, and people are impacted. People who are listening to this are impacted by the literal words that are being said. So if I think profit is a good thing, and someone is literally saying that they're making too much profit, there is no such thing as too much profit. There's absolutely no such thing as too much profit. Okay? So when somebody is literally saying these words, they're making too much profit, I have to deal. If my job is to be able to impact people and push for what benefits society, and I think profit is a good thing, then I have to deal with the literal words that are being put out there.
Yeah, he's like a capitalist Democrat, so sometimes the message gets muddled, and this is a muddled message. Like, I start a comment where it says Fetterman still votes 99% with Democrats. Yeah, that's a problem. Like, he's, at least in messaging, he's the only one that still sounds like a Democrat. Yeah, I can agree with that.
Okay. That's good information. Thank you for that context. Fickle Not with a super chat saying, I apologize to every single Iranian fighting to be free from the Islamic Republic. Appreciate you, Armin and Monkey, Payande Iran. Why are you apologizing? You're like, don't apologize. You didn't do anything wrong. And thank you so much for your support. And Javid Shah and Payande Iran. And thank you. And we appreciate you too, Fickle Not. Don't apologize. I don't even remember
like
what
that we want to learn.
Yes. Why are you apologizing? I don't even know. I remember what you're apologizing for. But you have been here with us. We appreciate you so much. You have been here with us for so long and by our side. Thank you. And Justin with the super chat is saying he's virtue signaling, and I'm not attacking him by saying that. We all virtue signal from time to time.
Oh, you know what? You know what?
That's a good point.
That's a good point. He
Yeah.
could just be like a double entendre. He's telling, Exxon and Chevron, hey, well, you're being investigating for shit, right? And he's telling the people, hey, I care about your prices too. Like a little virtue signal,
Yeah.
a little hidden message and a virtue signal. Yeah. Thank you, Justin.
The virtue signal is that people hate big companies, especially energy related companies. Oh, big oil, big gas, and it's just popular to just speak against Chevron and ExxonMobil as if they are, evil companies, just because they're big. I wish. So yeah, I guess the problem is the education. And guys, if you're patriotic, what I want to encourage, and I know this is so unpopular, right? It's so easy to be anti-big corporation, but if you're patriotic, you should be proud of having the biggest companies in the world. That's comes with being a superpower. Like, you should be proud that you have companies with more value than multiple countries, right? So this is America. Like, you should be proud of that. The bigger, the better.
Yes.
Right. Thank you, Justin. And how do you pronounce this again?
Hi, Turbine.
Hi, Turbine. Hi, Turbine. Thank you so much for the super chat. Saying Islamic regime is Arab. From where? Iraq and Saudi Arabia. Wahhabism, radical Islam, originated from Saudi Arabia. Saudi Arabia financed the attacks of 9/11. 2001. Trump cancels attacks to please whom? Saudi Arabia. So I don't know. Okay, so saying Islamic regime is Arab kind of suggests that's
occupying force.
Yeah, I mean, I don't want to say it's Arab because I want to be fair to Arabs, because I think like it kind of might suggest that to be Arab is to be Muslim, and I think it's not.
Good
like
point.
I think Islam. Yeah, I want to say like Islam has not just occupied Iran. Islam also occupied Saudi Arabia. Like, I think Islam is an occupying force of Saudi Arabia, and Saudi Arabia needs to be liberated from Islam as well. But yeah, because I know so many Arab people. But go on, say yeah, okay, yeah.
I'm sorry. I was gonna say that I think the Saudis kicked out Bin Laden and had if they got him, they were gonna kill him or arrest him, and that's why he was hiding in Pakistan, because they didn't want him around. I'm not saying Saudis got clean hands and they're like super ultra nice people in the government, right? This is not what I'm saying, and I'm not saying that they're not sponsoring bad stuff, because I've seen how they put their Farah lobby and how much they put into our universities, right? I'm not claiming that they're clean hands. But as far as like 9/11 and the financing, and is that the same as state sponsored or people in Saudi Arabia that financed it? Can you blame all of Saudi Arabia for that? I can't go that far. I get what you're saying, but I wouldn't blanket blame Saudi Arabia for that. I would kind of go very specific into some groups.
See, so Saudi Arabia is the house of Wahhab and the house of Saud. And these two houses got married, not just figuratively, but literally. Like, they had a marriage between a young boy and young girl between these two houses to be united. Before Saudi Arabia was a country, these two houses married each other, and then they became a force that eventually took over all of the Hejaz, and they started Saudi Arabia, right? And I would say this as somebody who's extremely against the house of Saud. Like, I'm not defending them. The House of Saud is evil, okay? But the House of Saud is not Islamic. In fact, by now, the House of Saud is actually anti-Islamic. They hate Islam. I wouldn't be surprised if the House of Saud is fucking frustrated. Like, they're over it with Islam. So yes, you're right. Like, just because something comes from Saudi Arabia, it doesn't mean that they're all the same thing. Again, I'm not defending the House of Saud. The House of Saud is evil for so many reasons, but not because of Islam. Okay, they're evil for other reasons, right? House of Saud is more interested in wealth and power, and they think Islam is an obstacle. The only reason why the House of Wahhab is obsessed with Islam, and the House of Saud used the House of Wahhab when they needed it, and they have been trying to get a divorce from this marriage for so many years. They were almost getting a divorce. They were almost getting a divorce in the 1970s. Like if you go into Saudi Arabia in the 1970s, you could see like everything was getting westernized. But the 1979 Islamic Revolution in Iran caused the Wahhabis in Saudi Arabia to try to do their own Islamic revolution against the House of Saud. So the Shah in Iran was, modernizing. The Saudis in Saudi Arabia were trying to become less Islamic as well. And then in Iran, there was an Islamic revolution that toppled the Shah. In the same year, because that revolution inspired the Wahhabis, they attacked the Kaaba, and there was a bloodbath, and they killed everybody. The Saudis managed to kill all the Wahhabis that were trying to do that, but they got so terrified that an Islamic revolution could be happening in Saudi Arabia again, just like in Iran. They canceled the divorce, and they jumped back into the arms of the Wahhabis, and they're like, okay, let's try to go counseling and make this marriage work, and everything got Islamized again. Like in Saudi Arabia, they stopped trying to westernize things, and everything got Islamic. Okay, again back. But then now what you're saying in the past couple of years, the Saudis are reattempting the divorce. That divorce from between the House of Saud and House of Wahhab is being attempted again. But the Saudis are terrified because this attempt of a divorce might cause an Islamic revolution in Saudi Arabia. Does that make sense?
It does. It does. You kind of have gone over some parts of this before, but I think it's important to explain this because there's new people every day, and I think this is something that's not widely understood about Saudi Arabia. My hope is that they can have some sort of divorce. But another fact I'd like to know, like not right now, but I'd like to know how many of the population are with the house of the Wahhabi house, and how many are Saud? Like, are they that much of a minority that it's that big of a problem?
Oh, that's a very good question. You ask really good questions. Okay, so I think there are polls that shows how many people in Saudi Arabia, support the current reforms by Mohammed bin Salman away from the Islamization of Saudi Arabia, and whether the support is mostly among young people or older people. I don't know if there's anything that indicates between the House of Saud and House of Wahhab which sides the Saudis take, but I will bring those data. I will bring those numbers for you as I'm gonna go to the next comment. You start this comment, so you might as well respond to this while I get to.
I think this might be like what I was going over. There's gonna be new people every day, or people that missed the day that we talked about this, and that might have been what's going on here. British royalty says that was really interesting. Thanks for explaining it. You see, some people are not aware of these things and they want to know. Appreciate you for your comment and for watching.
Thank you. And that encouraged you guys saying that's so encouraging to hear, right? So this is what I have. Public opinions polling in Saudi Arabia reveals massive support for Mohammed bin Salman's social and economic modernization under Vision 2030. Support for reform is highest among young Saudis under 30, who make up the majority of the national population. Popular desire for modern interpretations of Islam has nearly doubled since 2017, while approval for radical groups has dropped sharply. Citizens overwhelmingly favor the national leadership of the House of Saud over the traditional religious authority of the Wahhabi establishments. State initiatives like the establishment of Founding Day on February 22nd, 2022, successfully reoriented national identity away from religious dogma towards state nationalism across the region.
That sounds good. Like, I got a question for you about that. Now, watching these Durkas launch at missiles and drones at them, do you think they would be even more against Durkaism? And like, do you think this would rise religious fervor, or do you think it would increase a favoritism towards secularism, seeing how crazy people? You understand what I'm saying? How would they
Yep.
see the
Yeah.
current engagement?
They would say those are like, look at the country that is infected with all of this radicalism. This is why we're different from them, because we are moving away from just this jihadi mindset. We're becoming more modern and more developed. But you know what, what the problem is? Even this is not going to help. This is not enough for Saudi Arabia, and this is something that you mention all the time. Okay, because even if you are becoming less Islamic, at the end of the day, what you have is a command structure with an authority that makes all the decisions, and you don't have liberty. You might have less Islam, but people don't have political rights. People don't have freedom of speech. There is no economic freedom and there's no political freedom, and the decisions are made by a centralized authority from the top down. So you're not, it's not a meritocracy, and that's why it's going to look like things are getting better, but the fundamentals are still weak.
Can I counter that?
Yes, go ahead, of course.
Now, what if Mohammed bin Salman, the MBS, what if MBS said, you know what, there was a Shah in Iran that was Muslim but was like secularizing, and he was like doing things a different way, giving more freedom. Maybe I could be like that guy.
Yeah, I mean, and if you
If he
Yeah.
starts loosening a little bit, giving people a little bit more freedom and getting more support, and being able to give them a little more freedom because he gets even more support,
Well-
like could that work?
I mean, he's not gonna. Mohammed bin Salman is not gonna give political freedoms because he's afraid that then that political freedom would be used by Islamic Wahhabi Muslim Brotherhood groups, and also Shia communities that are agents of the Islamic Republic, for them to be able to operate freely and move against the Saudis. That's why he thinks if he does that, then that will.
Are there
increase the
non-political
chance-
freedoms he could give? Can you think of any? Maybe I'm crazy here. I don't know.
I mean, political freedoms are the main freedom that you need. But here's the counter to your counter, which is actually a good topic to discuss. He's going to think like, okay, look what happened to Mohammad Reza Shah. Mohammad Reza Shah was giving people political freedoms, and he was toppled by an Islamic revolution. So why should I do that?
I was thinking more like a more modernization and less what do you call it? Oh my God, religious imposition in the jurors. Like you
Yeah.
can't arrest people for like certain things that had to do with Islam. Like
If
you'd give more freedom on
thinks-
that side.
He thinks if he just loosens even a little bit. Let me read this to you. The Saudi leadership intentionally denies political freedoms to prevent radical political Islamic factions from gaining legal power. Historical lessons from the March 2011 Arab Spring demonstrated the democratic openings frequently empowered the Muslim Brotherhood over secular liberals. So as soon as you let people have some liberty, they choose Islam, Muslim Brotherhood, for example. So Mohammed bin Salman curtailed Wahhabi religious power in 2017 to stop conservative hardliners from organizing politically against modernizing reforms. State security policy actively suppressed Shia extremist groups in the eastern province to block subversion orchestrated by the Iranian regime. Absolute monarchy is utilized as a vehicle to guarantee social liberalization while protecting national security in the country by not giving them political liberalization. So we have three types of liberty: social liberty, economic liberty, and political liberty. The economic and political liberty is what builds your fundamentals. Social liberty is the cheapest one to give, and that's what Saudi is trying to give right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Like it's I'm just trying to think of like, well, if Iran wants to do this, be secular, but also give that liberty without losing to that liberty. Like, is
Yes.
there a path to that in Saudi Arabia
You know,
in the
you know
modern
what the best
day?
yes, there's a path to do that. If Iran gets liberated and the Iranian people get both social, political, and economic liberty, and they use that in a secular way to make Iran prosperous, that will inspire young people across the region to want that as well.
Okay.
Not just social liberties, but political liberties. We got Bit Over 50 gave us Jules. Thank you so much. And then Stick and Beans with 10 membership gifts. 10. Thank you so much, Stick and Beans. Always supporting us. Thank you so much. Monkey, again, because I drink 6 glasses of tea per show, I need to go to the washroom again. So guess what that means?
I'm gonna hope it's Nick because I hate Pierce. Oh God. Oh God.
All right, I'll be right
Oh
back.
Jesus. Okay. Help me, Jesus.
I want to start with a quote from the Spanish actor Javier Bardem, a big Hollywood star. He reshared social media posts blaming Israel for what happened in Ceuta, saying, "We don't know who engineered this crisis, but we know who benefits from a weakened, destabilized Spain, Israel, and the Western far right eager to turn migration into a weapon against Muslims." What is your response to that? Because he reflects a lot of the theories being put out that somehow the Israelis are behind all this. It suits them and the Americans to stir things up with the migrants so that it puts pressure on the Spanish prime minister and it exposes the European migrant problem for what it is.
It sounds like Javier needs to stick to reading a script that someone else wrote. He's not very good at coming up with his own ideas. That's ridiculous. To say that somehow this is a U.S.-Israel conspiracy, and that's why all those young men flooded to the coast, it's nonsense. I mean, I don't know what's next. Israel and the U.S. are going to be accused of the joint kidnapping of the Lindbergh baby back in the 20s, maybe the downing of the Hindenburg. Where does this stop? Everything that seems to happen on Earth, somebody has this nutty idea that it must be Israel and or the United States.
What does he mean next? I'm pretty sure somebody has already blamed the Jews for whatever we just said.
Yes. Who would be behind it. Why don't you just accept the fact that there were these people who were wanting to get to that part of Spain? They were deported, but I guess I would wonder, since the Spanish have been so very critical of the policies, let's say of Israel, of not creating a second state for Palestinians, why didn't they create a state for those people that wanted to immigrate to their country?
Who do you think was behind it? It certainly seemed to have been very well orchestrated.
Isn't it amazing that this is getting? You remember, guys, we were joking about this when those migrants were going to Spain. We were like, "Oh my God, yeah!" Hezi gave a super chat, like, "Of course it's the Jews," and we were joking about it. And the next day, Nick Fuentes came and said, "This is Israel." Because of the Abrahamic Accord, but like, oh my God, people are actually saying it. It was a joke, but people are actually saying it, and now it's getting actually, yeah, no, but Monkey, like they're taking it so seriously. They're like, hey, what do you think about this theory? Like, why are we even debating this? Like, or like,
Look,
Piers, are you going to bring the flat Earth theory on your next show as a
we all know
hypothesis?
Jews sometimes steal one of your shoes. Like, they're guilty of every single thing. If you stub your toe, that's the Jews. It's all the Jews. The Jews are all powerful. You might as well just kneel and worship them, because you like the amount of power that is given to the Jews is like, well, why are you fighting them? I mean, if they control this one, well, like, foot should be in charge. What the hell? I understand why Nick Fuentes is saying, Hashem, take me, make me Jewish, because these people are just too awesome. No, it is ridiculous. We have seen organized migrations like this in many, many places. And Mr. Piers Morgan over here is having a very selective memory, because we have seen exactly scenes like this all over Europe. We've even seen in the southern border of the US. This isn't new. This isn't rare. He's pretending it's new. He's pretending it's rare, but he's being retarded because 50,000 is nothing. We've seen things like this before, and we've seen it all over Europe.
You're right. But yeah, and also this is like, we're just asking questions. You know, he has one of the biggest shows on earth, and he comes and bring this, like, he makes it seem like he's just investigating this theory. But what you're doing is you're giving credibility to one of the most retarded takes on earth, blaming the Jews by making it seem like it's even a credible, theory that needs to be even considered by talking about it.
Illustrated and planned. What would your best theory be as to who and why?
Honestly, Pierce, I wouldn't have a theory because I think it's really ridiculous for me, or frankly anyone else, who doesn't have any facts about why they came, to just suddenly invent something. I think that's what's wrong in the world today. We have so many people coming up with these wild theories, and most of them don't hold enough water to put in a thimble. And this is a great example where people don't recognize the U.S. and Israel both have plenty on their plates right now. Neither country needs to be inventing some ridiculous conspiracy theory, or more importantly, actually orchestrating the moving of almost 50,000 people from one place to the other. I mean, that's a pretty big logistical challenge. And for somebody to just come up out of the clear blue sky, yep, that looks like what Israel and the U.S. is doing. Really, they need to get a better kind of argument, because that one simply falls apart.
Yeah, I don't even think you should have been. I think if I was him, I would be like, why are you even bringing this up? Do you want to discuss Bigfoot next? Do you want to discuss the flat Earth theory next? Like, what is this? Like, that's what I would that's what I would respond with.
I say they should investigate what NGOs have been doing around there, what assistant groups to migrants have been doing around there. That's where my investigation would go. This definitely has money going through it. I would investigate any international transactions going through there to Pakistan, through there, however it's going. I would do an investigation. That's what I would do. I can probably ask ChatGPT what NGOs assist migrants in Morocco, especially but not limited to UN-related NGOs. Ask ChatGPT, Gemini, and Grok, and I could probably come up with a few fairly easy. He doesn't want to do any investigative research because he doesn't like what the answer is going to be, and it's not going to be Israel.
Exactly. Oh, wait, we got some super chats. Let's respond to them. Amir, thank you so much for the super chat saying, no one care what peers have to say. Keep the garbage from the trash can. I mean, he has one of the biggest shows on earth, unfortunately, though. He has one of the biggest shows on earth.
Look, I just checked. I got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10 organizations relating to helping migrants in Morocco. And of those, 1, 2, 3, 4 are related to the UN. So who did it? Probably the UN.
Right. Sticking beans with a super chat saying, you have a flat tire? The Jews! You step on Lego brick, barefoot? The Jews! You knock your toe against the chair leg? The Jews! You know, guys, I kid you not. Look at this. Somebody actually blamed the Jews for losing his shoe. Have you guys heard about this thing? Musa stole my shoe. This happened in 2015. This was the post. This guy posted this Asghar Bukhari guy. So who is he? It's okay. This is the founder of the this group, this MPAC, which is an Islamic group, okay, in the UK or something. But look at this. He posted this. Are Zionists trying to intimidate me? Someone came into my home yesterday while I was asleep. I don't know how they got in, but they didn't break in. The only thing they took was one shoe. Now think about that. The only thing they took was a single shoe. They left one shoe behind to let me know someone had been there. of course, I can't prove anything, and that's part of the intimidation. The game is simple: to make me feel vulnerable in my own home. It's psychological. Neither can I do much about it. It is not the first time I have heard this happening. I have had another Muslim leader call me a year or so ago, in tears. She told me they had been coming into her house and rearranging things just to let her know they had been there. Wow. There is one good thing that comes out of all oppression, however, for those who are smart. From my, from my misfortune, others can learn. Misfortune, you lost your shoe. From my misfortune, others can learn how they operate. Share this widely, for it is happening to me. I'm sure it's happening to many others who have not exposed it. Wow. What do
They're
you
gonna
think?
make a pilgrimage site to the shoe that was left, and because this is great misfortune. Like, I think this is a lot of projection. I think he feels insecure, he feels intimidated, and he lost his shoe. But hey, when you miss a shoe, it was the shoes.
Amazing.
The
And then
shoes, the Jews.
the shoes. Yeah, I mean it rhymes. It must be. It must be. Zip Gun with a super chat saying the reason they came is because of the what permissive naturalization policies by the Sanchez administration. Full stop.
Can I comment on
Yeah.
this for 1 second?
Yes. Of
There was a
course.
Nick Shirley documentary where he went and personally interviewed this person. He's the one from the Leering Center. He also speaks like pretty fluent Spanish. And what was persistent among all those that were still left was Pedro Sanchez is great. We came for Pedro Sanchez. So trying to blame the Jews, they didn't come here because of the Jews. They came here because of the stuff that that they're hearing about Pedro Sanchez wanting them there.
Yep. Okay. That's good to know. And Amir with a super chat saying argument against those who say Iranians didn't fight hard enough. Check how fighting hard worked to Africans in the scramble of Africa. It didn't.
Yeah, there's a
Okay.
limitation to what you can do as a
Yeah,
protest
do it.
movement.
Yes, that's a good point. Thank you, Amir. Thank you. I appreciate your super chat. And Sticking Beans saying Borat throw money at cockroaches. Yes, I remember that scene in Borat. I think if I remember correctly, he thought cockroaches are Jews. So when they come into the house, he throws money at them because that's what he thinks Jews want. Have you seen that movie? Have you seen that
I
scene?
haven't, but I kind of want to now.
Yes,
I know
go
he
watch
did
it. Oh my-
Borat and Ali G.
Oh my God, Borat was amazing. That was so many years ago. Guys, do I remember that scene right? They think he throws money at cockroaches because he thinks that.
Oh, and the
Jews, that's what-
Dictator. I have to see that one too. Did you see the Dictator?
Yes, many years ago. I was a kid.
Did you like
was
it?
so-
Was it funny?
Oh my God! Oh my God! They were like like a cultural, thing. It has so much influence on everybody back then. How have you not seen it? I've seen those movies. They're amazing. You should go watch it for sure.
I haven't seen any of his movies. I just haven't. I should. Like everybody tells me it's a great movie. This is what is known, like for the non-religious, for the secular. This is what is known as a cinematic sin. I haven't seen it yet.
Yeah. Yes, go watch it. You're gonna love it.
It's a good. You haven't seen The Godfather? That's a cinematic sin. You need to repent by going and watching it.
Zip Gun with a super chat saying Spain naturalized over 500,000 migrants in 2025. The only requirement was being in Spain for more than 5 years, regardless of status. Yep, I remember that. That's horrible. And you know what? Spanish people didn't ask for this. If you go look at the stats, Spanish people are very much against this. Very much against this. And so they don't deserve this. It's sad that they're getting more than 80% of Spanish people are against this. Yeah.
They passed a naturalization law, I think it was in June, that might have led to this happening now.
Yeah. And Rod, thank you so much. Thank you so much for the jewels. I appreciate you, Rod. All right, this is getting a lot of attention, and I have no idea why. And it's very American, so we should watch it with the monkey. This is American politics. Who is this person? Apparently, she's important. Do you know her?
I think she might be Hong.
Okay, so yeah, she. I mean, wow, great guess. But let me see.
About this individual, I looked it up right before the show to figure out where she's from, and it says she's from Korea. She's a first-generation immigrant from Korea, but they didn't define which Korea, South Korea or North Korea? Because if you look at her policies, she's clearly from North Korea because she wants pure communism, but a much worse strand of communism than we've
Can
ever
you stop
seen.
it a second?
Yes.
I you know what? My suspicion is that it's not. That maybe she was raised over here or in South Korea, but a North Korean wouldn't want this. Sometimes.
Oh no,
there
he's
are
joking. He's
no, I
joking.
understand. I'm just for the benefit of the chat. Like sometimes it's the people that never lived under this stuff that start like, taking on these characteristics.
Yes.
Go on.
Imagine being Korean and still being for communism, being South Korean and being for communism, not seeing the difference between your country and a communist country. Insane.
It's way more common than North Koreans being for communism.
Right. North Koreans who fled, because North Koreans who live in North Korea have a lot of them don't even know there's another option.
This is
it's
correct.
so isolated. Yes.
Look at her policies, she's clearly from North Korea because she wants pure communism, but a much worse strand of communism than we've ever seen here in America. And it would be horrifying for the white population of Wisconsin. Wisconsin is 80% white, and she hates white people. And of course, that would go in line with the communist ideology of ensuring that you are as oppressive as possible to the people that make your society work. She also wants to end prisons. She wants to defund the police. She wants to nationalize banks and grocery stores, just like Mandami. So that sweet Wisconsin cheddar, get ready. That'll be the government cheese for you, Wisconsin.
Government cheese purchased with an ID, because you can't get your government cheese without your ID.
You better be carrying your ID to a grocery shop in New York. It's just that black people and women won't be able to get any groceries anymore. I guess Mandami wants them to starve.
Okay, so I don't know who she is. Is this a new Mamdani? Is this like a new
that last part where they were both talking about the hypocrisy spiral of the left? Did you know that Mandami wants these grocery stores where you have 30% less, right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, but
Which
you
is
have to
horrible.
show an ID because if not, outsiders are going to take your resources.
Yeah.
But he wants open borders though. And no ID to vote. Interesting.
No ID to vote. No ID to vote. Yeah. You need an ID for their store, but not for voting. Is this how big of a deal is this? Is it like, are we exaggerating the DSA commie takeover in the United States, or is this like, because look at her, she looks like exactly somebody you would see on a communist poster. You know, those like old times Cold War communist posters.
Yes.
That's what what she looks like.
We're underselling it. We're underselling the problem. We're not overstating it. We're understating it.
But didn't you say that they're not going to win elections? Like they're going to win their own area, but then when they come against the Republicans, they're not going to win because they're not popular. So isn't that like, doesn't that mean that it's not that big of a deal?
No, I'm saying we're understating how retarded they are. I'm not saying they're going to win, but I'm saying we're not screaming, look at how stupid these people are hard enough. They're afraid that only locals should use local resources, but they want open borders.
So if they're not going to win, does that mean they're not that big of a threat? We shouldn't be concerned.
Well, we should call it out, because what we should do is show the left, hey, look at what your people are doing, because that's going to break the left in half. Why should we be worried? We should be worried because people don't know. A lot of leftists are leftist because they don't know what's going on. Alerting them is what you should do. Not because we're afraid they're going to win, because it has a positive effect on our side. Like showing the left how stupid they're becoming is going to demoralize them. They're not going to want to vote for that.
Yeah. Yeah. Amir is saying just be aware. Hopefully you're right, because, you know, a lot of people are thinking that we're going to have a, you know, communist takeover at some point.
Hey, if that gets some voting, let them think it.
Okay. Let's go back to Nick Fuentes. I had a couple of Nick Fuentes clips. I just didn't want to do it back to back because I know you guys can't take it back to back. It's too hard. But let's just watch it one more time. See what he's saying about Iran again.
Iran was isolated, contained. The United States leading the charge with all its allies. What Iran is doing in the conflict is reversing this. They're breaking out of containment, and they're forcing the Gulf countries to learn to live with Iran, tolerate Iran, and actually acknowledge Iran's right to exist. So what Iran has done is they flipped the script, whereas...
That is, okay, so just because that is the opposite of what's happening. The Arab countries before this war had learned to tolerate the Islamic Republic. Now they want it gone. Just, I mean, if they're asking for ceasefires, it's not because they don't want the Islamic Republic gone. It's because they think that they can't get rid of them, right? Like they think like a half-assed military operation is going to make things worse. But their desire now, more than ever before, is for the Islamic Republic to be gone and over, like to be done. Like this is the opposite of what Nick Fuentes is saying.
Before, the way things were going to go, if Iran was defeated, it would lead to Israel being integrated in the region, Israel breaking containment, Israel no longer being isolated by all those.
Yeah, and the Arab countries actually want to jump into the arms of Israel right now. They do want that, most of them, but they can't because, not because they want to, but they can't because they're afraid of their population. So he thinks that the leaders of these Arab countries are concerned of an Israeli takeover of the Middle East. Actually, that is not true. The leaders of the Arab countries in the Middle East know that the only alternative to the United States is Israel. The only way that they could have any security in this region without United States being as present as before is Israel. So they want Israel to succeed. The Arab leaders in the region, they want Israel to succeed against Hamas. They want Israel to succeed against Hezbollah. But they can't be public about it because their own population will rise up against them. The Arab countries, most of them, not all of them, the Arab countries' leaders, they hate Hamas. They hate the Islamic Republic. They hate Hezbollah. They hate Hashd al-Shabi. And every time Israel goes to war with them, and even every time Americans go to war with them, they secretly wish them the best, but they can't be public about it.
I love how you're breaking this down. This is like play by play. Fantastic.
All right.
Arab or Muslim countries integrated under the leadership of the United States. Now it is Iran that has broken containment and isolation. Now they are going to have a détente and non-aggression and economic interdependence with the Saudis, with the Emiratis, with the Qataris.
Yeah, and they're going to violate every single one of them. And the Arab countries, the Emiratis and the Saudis, they know that these deals don't mean anything to the Islamic Republic. And the Islamic Republic has publicly stated that their ultimate plan is to take over Saudi Arabia, to take over the UAE, to take over Bahrain, to take over Kuwait, to take over even Qatar and make it part of their territory. They have publicly said that they want to do that at some point. Israel doesn't want to do that. Israel doesn't want to take over Saudi Arabia. Guys, when Khamenei was alive, he had people sing in front of him that they're going to take Saudi Arabia all down and they're going to change the flag of Saudi Arabia from saying the Shahadatain to changing it to saying Haydar al-Karrar. That's what they said. They made that public.
What does that mean?
That's their plan. Like, which is like basically praising Ali, the first Imam of Shia Muslims. Right, so think about the green flag of the Saudi Arabia is right now on it. It says La ilaha illallah Muhammadur Rasulullah, which means there is no God except Allah, and Muhammad is the Prophet of Allah. the Islamic Republic sings about removing that text from the green flag once they take over Saudi Arabia and putting Ali on it, the first Imam of Shias, which is weird. If you're a Muslim, you should be like, but what would you? Why? Like, aren't you for Allah and Muhammad? Like, this is actually an admission that to them Ali is even more important than Muhammad and Allah. I mean, they won't say it like that, but that's kind of an admission that they see, that's Allah, Muhammad is like, so focusing on that only is a Sunni thing. You know what I mean? But yeah, they want to liberate. They think that they need to liberate Saudi Arabia to bring Saudi Arabia to Islam. Like, their understanding is that Saudi Arabia is Zionist right now, and they will liberate Saudi Arabia to bring it to Islam. That's what they think they're going to do. Israel doesn't have any ambitions like that. The Islamic Republic does. So why would the Saudis want the Islamic Republic to replace the Israel? Saudi Arabia wants Israel to destroy the Islamic Republic, but the reason why they push for ceasefire is because what they see is that, okay, you guys are half-assing it. We don't like this middle area. Like, Saudi Arabia is thinking like either complete ceasefire or a complete destruction of the Islamic Republic. Don't make us we don't want this in between area where there's war and we have to. You guys, like, the Saudis are looking at the Americans. They're like, you guys come here. You're dealing with this monster here that everybody is afraid of, and you injure it, and then you go away. If you go away, now we're all stuck with this crazy monster here that you injured and you didn't kill. If you're coming here, do not injure the sleeping monsters that is going to then, unleash its wrath on us instead of you. Either come and kill it or don't do anything at all. That's what the Saudis' position is.
I would say containment isn't when all your neighbors hate you more. That's not breaking containment. That's self-containing.
Exactly. Yes, exactly. Everybody's trying to find a way how to survive this, and Nick Fuentes is thinking that now they're moving towards the Islamic Republic. They're just afraid. They're like, this is a beast that we don't have enough defense against, and we need to appease it somehow so it doesn't hurt us. That's what they're dealing. That's how they view the Islamic Republic.
And as a matter of fact, the reverse will also be true. If Iran survives the conflict, they're managing the strait with Oman and the Gulf countries. They're being paid out of the sovereign wealth funds of the Gulf countries. Those Gulf countries are facilitating the unfreezing of their money. They're all afraid of Iran. They all live under the threat of Iranian rockets, drones, and missiles. In turn, Israel becomes the isolated country. The Saudis have a mutual defense pact.
That's not true, because Israel will be the only way out of this. If the Saudis and the Emiratis get disappointed with the United States not finishing the job, then Israel will be the only way out of this. They cannot. This might be a temporary solution for them to right now give money to the Islamic Republic so that they don't get some missiles. This is a temporary solution. They cannot live like this forever. Like, if the Islamic Republic survives, even if the missiles stop coming, even if the drones stop coming, you know what also stops coming? Investment, tourism, trade. Because every single private equity firm or investment bank looking at projects in Saudi Arabia is going to be like, okay, these are worth a lot less than before because we have to discount the future cash flows of the potential returns on these projects at with a much higher risk rate, which makes the valuation of everything in this region a lot less than before, because everything here is more risky because the Islamic Republic is still across the water over there, and we don't know when this when war is going to come back. Like, even if there is no war, the fact that the Islamic Republic is right across the water, every single person is going to think that at some point it's going to happen again. So everything will be worth less. Their entire business, the Saudis are desperately trying to diversify away from fossil fuels because their entire existence depends on their diversification to be successful. And diversification requires investments, tourism, trade from all over the world. and the risk of the Islamic Republic surviving and being there and continuing to exist, and everybody thinking that at some point we're going to have to do this all over again, means that diversification is not going to be possible at the speed that the Saudis want. So one way or another, they have to go beg the Israelis somehow to come and finish the job, even if they think the United States is not going to do it. And if they're wiser than that, at some point, they're going to go support the Iranian people, maybe. And maybe they're going to join the countries who will be recognizing Princess of Pahlavi as a leader of the Iranian people's revolutions and also the leader of the government in exile, as the monkey says.
Yes, like one thing I comment here just to bolster your point, not only is it like, okay, I'm gonna put it like someone said this in the chat. The Saudis don't want a strong Iran; they want a weak Iran. When we're talking about the IRGC, but the possibility of the IRG staying weak was not happening. The more time you give them, the stronger they get. They remain a problem. And when they're talking about a diversification, this is something that they put out themselves. It's called Project 2030. There is a timeline, and that timeline is getting fucked up by this. Like, that's kind of what Armin was talking about. I just want to, reinforce the points that he was making, that this is fucking up their timeline bad because they want desperately to diversify and they can't. And having a strong IRGC is a problem. They don't have a problem with the weak IRGC. That's fine. A strong IRGC is a problem because it fucks up all their plans.
Exactly. You know what Saudi Arabia needs? Saudi Arabia needs the Shah back in Iran, because the Shah would bring stability to the Middle East, and then you could get on your diversification plan because the whole region would be a lot more secure. If they knew what's good for them, that's what they would push for. Yeah.
It's packed with Pakistan. They're bringing Turkey into this. If the Saudis, Qataris, and Emiratis are then in turn working with Iran, that's looking like a broader Muslim coalition that increasingly is able to defy and stand up and become assertive against Israel.
You have no idea what you're talking about. These people hate each other more than they hate Israel.
Turkey is against Israel. Iran is against Israel. Pakistan is in some ways against Israel.
Yeah, no, you have no idea. The Saudi Arabia is pro-Israel, but they can't admit it. The UAE is pro-Israel, and they actually admit it now, which is crazy. Bahrain is in the Abrahamic Accord. Like, what? Morocco.
And if the Gulf country is a part of a security architecture,
yes, no, all of these countries consider the Islamic Republic to be the main threat. Every single one of them, not Israel, Islamic Republic.
Architecture and interdependent with those countries, then maybe you never get a growing Abraham Accords that eventually integrates Saudi Arabia and Lebanon and Syria. Maybe instead you get something like a broader Muslim coalition that actually isolates Israel.
This is so retarded. So we're gonna go become allies with the state that just bombed us repeatedly, unprovoked. All of these countries are gonna be like, oh, you just threw missiles and drones at us without unprovoked. So now that convinced us to be united with you against a country that did not do such a thing to us, that is giving us a chance to actually protect us. What are you talking about? Like, are these people like interested in being in an abusive relationship? What are you talking about? So you get a beating, and because you got a beating, you're gonna unite with the country that just attacked you. This is not about unity. This is about them being scared, and this is mafia collecting protection money from you against providing protection against themselves. This is not these people don't want to be united with you. You attack them. Why would they want to be united with you? They fear you. Unbelievable.
Yes.
Okay. Anyways, this is crazy.
I would say retarded, but yes.
Who buys this shit? He has one of the biggest audiences in the world, and look at what he's feeding them. What bullshit is
like
this?
The most loving wife is the one you beat.
Yeah.
I mean, that's his logic here.
Actually, you know what? So here's the thing, okay? It's like A husband telling his wife that if you call the cops, you beat. Okay, so imagine if you beat your wife, and you think your wife might be calling the cops, and then you tell her that if you call the cops, I'm gonna kill you, I'm gonna beat you, and this time it's gonna be different. And she says, I'm so sorry, I love you, I'm not gonna call the cops. And then you come, Nick Fuentes comes and says, oh, look at this, they're united against the cops. Look at this. She's abandoning the cops and she's united with his. Look at so romantic. They're united. This is such a This is
such a good relationship.
Such a good relationship here. Like their wife is like, I'm so
not
sorry.
toxic
I'm not
at
gonna
all.
call the cops. Yes, I love you so much. Thank you for beating me. It was good for me. That's what he said. That's right.
Terrible
The cops
marriage
being
counselor there.
The cops being Israel here, by the way, right? So yeah, we got to some super chats. That was a good analogy, right? I think so. That worked out. Steak and Beans with a super chat saying, someone put the safety on Aladdin. What? Aladdin instead of what? I don't get this. It's not pointy. They will. I don't know what is happening here.
This is
Monkey.
from the dictator. The missile has to be pointy.
Oh, okay, got it. Oh my god, I'm so stupid. Yeah, sorry. Someone put the safety on Aladdin instead of Aladdin. It's not pointy. They will laugh at us. Okay, yes. Got it.
Is that what they named the missiles? Aladdin 1, Aladdin 2.
Oh,
I gotta see it.
Aladdin. Okay, so Aladdin is the Arabic version of saying Aladdin. Okay, yes. Yeah. Okay, got it. Sorry, Steak and Beans. I ruined it.
This just means you have to watch the movie again. That's what's going
Yes,
on here.
watch
You
the
haven't
movie
seen it
again.
in a long time.
I haven't seen it like that, but I have watched that scene multiple times after there, so I should have remembered. But thank you, Steak and Beans. Yes, pointy. It needs to be pointy. They will laugh at us. They will think it's a dildo, as he says in the scene. Zip going with a super chat saying the DSA are very, very smart. They are running in races with low turnout. The solution is to get the silent majority to vote. Oh, Monkey,
Yes.
you would know about this. That's true.
So if let's say these people usually vote Democrat, they don't even think about it, and they don't even know who the Democrat. That's the vote blue, no matter who turn out, where they don't know what this guy thinks, but they'll vote for him. So if you get people to, hey, that guy that's on the ballot, he wants this, that's terrible, and he wants that's terrible, and he wants that's terrible. Where that low turnout, I mean low, not many people vote, and they usually vote blue. That might change. You might get more people disillusioned and not voting, and you might get more people that are on the red side to actually vote. You might get a higher turnout because, like, wait a minute, I'm gonna have to vote, even if I don't think this district will ever win. I'm just gonna get out there because it's a low turnout and these people are retarded. I don't want them in power. So you might get either disillusioned blue that don't want to vote for that, and you might have a red wave. So that's what he's saying. Like, yeah, this is basically the message here is get the word out about these people, because these people are doing this specifically in places that not a lot of people vote. And that's a place where if you get the people motivated, you can make a difference. I hope that made sense.
Yeah. Thank you, Monkey. Always good. Deborah saying, please address the lies of the troll. I don't know how to pronounce that name.
Rover.
I mean, I haven't seen. I don't know what
I've seen it. I can address it. Okay, chat. I know you guys are going at this guy. So chat is already addressing the stuff that he's saying. My advice is sometimes people like these are time trolls. They want to engage you. That's their whole point. They want to keep engagement. You can engage with them for fun. Right? You could just have fun with them, argue with them for fun, but you can't let them to affect you emotionally because that's their win. And you can't let them take time from you that you need for something else. So don't let them take your peace. Don't let them take your time if you need that time for something else. But if you got time and you want to go ahead and address it, I've seen a whole bunch of people here addressing this guy's bullshit. So on that part, don't let these people get to you, because the chat is doing a real good job on this. And thank you for being here, member, for
guys.
9 months.
Yeah, 9 months. Thank you so much, bro. Thank you. But I haven't seen what he's saying, but you guys could use him as target practice. When people like this come, you guys could practice responding to them. You guys need to be, it's a good opportunity. So just use him as a tool to get
You
better.
refine your debate skills.
Yes, exactly, Monkey. Yes, fantastic. Great advice, Monkey. Great advice. Zipgun with a super chat. Thank you so much, Zipgun, saying, oh, the Ba'athist party. The Ba'athists already tried to back when Abdel Nasser
Tried that
ruled
back
Egypt.
one.
Oh, tried that back when? Back when Abdel Nasser ruled Egypt, the 6-day war, I think. But I don't know what you're saying. Do you understand what you're saying? So I don't know what this is in reference to. Okay, so I know the Ba'athist party and Abdel Nasser were both kind of pan-Arabist, and yeah, Abdel Nasser. What was this in reference to? Zipgun. I'm going to pay attention.
It has
What-
to
I
be
don't
incredibly
remember-
recent because the super chat came at 1:44 of my time. This is a few minutes ago. So this must be during the
Oh,
talk
yeah.
about-
I got it. We were talking about unifying the Arabs or Muslims. So back then, he's talking about the pan-Arabist movement that was trying to unite the Arabs against Israel, and he failed. That's what he's referring to. Okay, so yes, you're right. The Ba'athists and the Abdul. And
I didn't
Abdel
know about
Nasser-
this stuff.
Yes.
So
yes.
hey, you want to lay it out for me? I'd love to hear it.
So no, you actually do know about this. Let me tell you what he's referring to. So remember when I told you that before the attempt to create an Islamic unity against Israel, there was an attempt to create an Arab unity against Israel, right? And it failed, right? So
Like the PLO people?
Yes, PLO was part of it, right? So right now, a lot of people know like all Muslims in the region are against Israel. Because there's three phases of this. First, we had pan-Arabist movement. The main person that was leading that was Jamal Abdel Nasser, ruler of Egypt, right? That was the guy. That was the pan-Arabist face, the face of pan-Arabism, right? That was not. I mean, they were Muslim, but they didn't really care much about Islam. They were mostly socialist Arab supremacists. So very much like Nazis. Right? Arab supremacist socialists. So they were into Marxism and anti-capitalism, anti-Zionism, anti-imperialism, so-called anti-imperialism, anti-West, and they were trying to create an empire that all of the Arab countries become united based on their Arab identity, not Islamic identity, by Arab identity. Right? So if you're a Christian Arab, you would be part of this, but if you're a Muslim Indonesian, you would not be part of this. Right? So it was the Arab identity. And that failed. Israel defeated that movement. Israel crushed that movement. Tiny little country, Israel, pushed back against all of them and defeated them. And back then it was doing it with much less support, and it still won. So then the second phase was the Sunni pan-Islamic movement. The caliphates, the Hamases, the ISISes, the Al-Qaeda, all of that, right? Mostly ISIS. Like that is the global Islamic empire based on being Sunni. Right? Not based on being like Arab, but based on being Sunni. And now we're in the third phase. What?
Like Pan-Sunni?
Pan-Sunni is something that we should invent. It's something that people don't use, but now that you mentioned it, I've heard it for the first time in my life, and that makes a lot of sense. We should call it Pan-Sunni. Yes, okay. And now
ISIS is a Pan-Sunni movement.
Yes, Pan-Sunni movement, exactly. And now we're doing a third attempt. We're in the middle. That failed as well because of Israel. And now we're doing a third attempt, a pan-Islamic movement, but with the Shia leadership that is looking for a global imamate, not a global caliphate, but a global imamate. So this failed once, it failed twice, and now we're in the middle of the third attempt of creating an empire, an anti-Israeli empire. Because guys, all three of them have one similar belief, that Israel is what's blocking them from world domination. So to dominate the Middle East and North Africa, they think the West has put Israel here to stop them from building an empire. So the first step in building that empire that eventually will dominate the world is the removal of Israel. And they're all failing at the removal of Israel part, and they think that's necessary, and they're right about it. That's if they have to go through Israel before they get to the rest of the world. And that's why supporting Israel is supporting the world. Anyways, we're almost running out of time, and we have more super chats. Thank you, guys. This is a good.
That's
problem
because of
to have.
Israel's closeness to the Suez Canal and the Mediterranean, I guess.
And being close to, I mean, being right in the middle of all of this garbage ideology. Right, so I guess like it's just being in the middle of all of that. Yeah, so that
militarily.
Yes,
like
and
having
also
a
being
base
close to
for our West there, and having the
Yes.
West not allow that to be taken over would be like the linchpin that they would need to get rid of.
Yeah, that also is part of it for sure. Yes. Okay, so let's go through this fast before we run out of time. Justin is saying, I don't know if you guys already mentioned it. I stepped away for a second, but Shin just reported an Indian ship was hit off Yemeni waters and sank. Oh my God. Okay, thank you for telling us that. I will jump into it right in the next stream that we're going to be doing in 1 hour. And I didn't even promote our group discussion that is coming up. So I'll do this fast. Thank you, Justin. I'll go and pay attention to that right after this. Stick and Bean saying Arab Muslim identity, Armin. No. Arab identity. They were these are socialists. It was Arab identity, the Pan-Arabist movement. It was about Arab identity. Then it failed. And then the Pan-Islamic movement came into being. These people happened to be Muslim, but the Muslim identity was not a unifying factor. And thank you so much, Stick and Beans. Zip Gun with a super chat saying pants on
Pansuni.
Pants on e-movement. Okay, so he's just basically taking your Pansuni ideas and pants on. Okay, funny. I see what you did there, guys. In 1 hour, we're gonna be in our discussion group. I need you guys to consider joining our group. Today is open, so that means everybody could join and talk to us. I'll be there. Monkey will be there. We're there every day. We have group calls every day, and today is free. So come there, and we're going to have our group call in 1 hour. Come there and talk to us. We're going to be live streaming it on Liberty Politics YouTube channel as well. If you are not there, you could watch it there. The link to our group discussion is in the chat. It's in the QR code on the top left. It's in Liberty Politics bio section over here. You can find the group link to it over there. The link to it is also in the description as well. Other than that, also please support the Monkey. Here's a link to Monkey's YouTube channel. I put it in the chat. Make sure you help him grow. And sorry if I'm rushing it, because we need to make sure that the show doesn't go above 1 hour.
One more so I can get to 8:25. Just one more and I'm there. I've been trying to get there since yesterday.
We need one more subscriber for Monkey, so go subscribe. All right, guys, that was us, and we'll see you guys again in 1 hour. So make sure you don't go anywhere. Subscribe and hit the bell notification and like the stream, so you make sure so that YouTube shows it to you when we're live. And we're gonna go. And thank you all. Till next show. I'm Israel Chai. Slava Ukraine. Cuba Libre, long live America, Javid Shah, Payande, Iran. Mwah.